What is good, y'all? Welcome back to the second ever episode of the Sound Lab podcast. I am your host, Jesse Eplin, and I'm here with my boy, Anthony Ammerman.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you for pulling up.
Appreciate you having me,
Yes,
man.
sir, Beast.
Second pod
Yes,
all
sir.
time.
Back.
First pod with the new setup.
Crazy. New setup. We got a new camera. So that first episode was with the iPhone, and this right here is with that nasty Sony A7 IV. And my Beast has also got the same exact camera. Thanks.
So we got the dual
Thanks.
angle.
Oh, my bad. I thought that shit was right here. It's right over there.
Yep.
Sheesh, I forgot.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's facts. That shit is
Nah, this is the right setup, man. This is the right setup.
facts. The right setup. Also, obviously, last episode there's a bunch of clicks. I'm not gonna do the mic tab now because we got that shit figured out. No more mic tabs.
Mic tab counter.
Yeah, yo, you notice? If you
Cracking
seen
up
that
with
shit,
the mic tab counter.
I didn't realize when I was editing that shit that I forgot some tabs. But honestly, like y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. There was just a lot of tabs, but yeah, got that shit figured out.
Yep. We're using the same
yeah.
mics for the first one.
Yeah, same mics, but shot with the iPhone. Now we got dual Sony A7V.
Went from 0 to 100.
Facts. Yeah. So I really wonder how this shit's gonna come out. It's gonna come out a lot nicer.
Yep.
Sheesh. Yeah. Dual Sony A7 IV is crazy. You gotta
Thought
cut
you were
the
only
shit
gonna
away.
have one tonight, and
Facts.
as I came in, I told Jesse I had a little surprise for him, and I ended up pulling up with the exact same camera that he bought a week ago. Kind of bit his flow. But yeah, this is one of the better cameras on the market. I think it's gonna do wonders for his video production and the podcast.
Facts.
And it really blurs the background nicely too. It's got a nice vignette on it, meaning it kind of like blurs the corners a little bit, and it just comes out really clean. So I think it's the perfect podcast camera. Sony does it right for sure.
Yep. Absolutely. Did a lot of research in this camera. I was looking into the Sony A7 III, but I believe this is the correct camera for the job. Feel me? We're gonna be cranking out a lot of podcasts, a lot of music videos. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be doing a whole bunch of shit. So I feel like going forward, it's only right. Facts.
Listen, man, eventually you
facts.
got to make a big investment. You know, like you can only record with the iPhone so much. You did a lot of good stuff with the iPhone, but eventually you gotta let the bag drop and invest in your future, invest in yourself. So I think it's gonna be good, man.
Like, don't get me wrong, the iPhone is crispy, but I feel like you can only go so far with the iPhone. Like, you don't get me wrong, like you can shoot music videos, obviously just regular videos, but
Right.
having a nasty camera, like as soon as I turned this camera on, I was like, it's not even a joke anymore. Like this shit is capturing like the pimples on my forehead and shit. This shit making me look crazy.
Like I was saying
God
before,
damn.
you know it's a good camera. Look, we're just getting into the videography, photography scene, and you know it's a good camera when it's got so many buttons and little widgets to it that you can't even wrap your mind around, that you don't even know how to even come close to, taking advantage of everything it could do.
Facts.
So yeah,
Mad
we got a lot of
buttons.
learning to do, but
Mad buttons.
we're definitely in the right spot. That's all that matters.
Mad buttons.
Yeah.
Facts. Especially because like my entire life I've been an audio guy, so now it's like diving into video shit
Now you're
is
into
like
video.
it's a whole different. I feel like it's a whole different side of my brain. It's like
You
I'm
might have
so
to
used
rent yourself for your music videos in the future instead of paying somebody.
Yeah, I mean I'm gonna be shooting.
You might be doing selfie music videos like this with the Ronin, like that big handle thing he uses.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, the gimbal. I'm gonna definitely be shooting a lot of videos on this shit. Like that's really why I sent it on the camera. Like obviously it cost a pretty penny, but
Yeah.
obviously between the podcast, between music videos, and also I plan on shooting music videos for like other clients. Cause like let's say people pull up here, they want to book like a 2-hour session, and then let's say they get a mix and mess or whatever. But I want people to be able to pull up here, and like let's say like they want to get the song done. They get the song done, and then also
And the video
shoot the
done.
video done too.
Same
I'll do
night.
the video too. Yeah, but it's like obviously, it feels like I'm an amateur videographer with a fucking professional camera, as opposed to this shit where it's like I really do feel like I'm a professional engineer, but by no means am I a professional videographer. Like that shit is like it's a learning curve. Like the camera's a learning curve. Like,
Skill wise,
I'm
maybe
fucked
not a
up.
professional yet, but a camera this good can make you seem like a professional when that final footage comes out.
Well, yo,
So it's like a one-stop shop now. Like you got the videography, you got photography, and this is like the perfect setup to take a dope video too.
Hell yeah. But yo, also like with the gear too, like even with music, the gear used matters. Like obviously the mic in there is the Neumann U87. You know what I'm saying? Like the preamp, like the plugins. So the equipment that you use, like it really, you know what I'm saying? If you invest in good equipment, like essentially you get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you're gonna if you spend more on good equipment, you're gonna get that same sound. You know what I'm saying? That same quality that you're paying for essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just raise this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like this shit low.
Yeah, man. I feel like a lot of people that are trying to do what you do, listen, a lot of people starting out, they don't have that kind of money to put into camera setups, to put into microphones. They got to work with what they have. And that's what you
Hell
did for a
yeah.
long time. And then like just incrementally you see the differences as you continue to spend more money, you see the different tiers of mics you can get. Now you have a mic that you were telling me, a couple of years ago Drake was using in a music video or whatever. Like
Oh yeah.
these are like top quality, state of the art equipment that you have now, and eventually you got to make that investment. It is what it is. If you want to compete with the best of them and be able to offer the best to your clients, that's just something you have to bite the bullet on.
Yeah, nah, it takes time. I definitely broke the bank with this camera, but it definitely takes time. Like when I first started recording back in like 2015 in the crib, I had like this $400 Sony 8KG microphone, and this shit like quite frankly it was sounding like dog shit, and I didn't know any like I didn't have any knowledge about like plugins or nothing like that, so it was sounding crazy. And then over time, I was actually like pulling up to other studios, watching YouTube videos, and then slowly but surely I upgraded equipment, just learned about it and shit. So it takes time, but if you give yourself time to learn how to do shit, you could definitely, what I'm saying, you could
Right.
do it. You could do it. I feel like you could really do whatever the fuck you want. You just have to give yourself time to do it. Like you could really
Yeah.
do like I swear you could really do anything. It's like actually give yourself time to do it. Like I feel like there's a reason why this podcast is here now as opposed to like 2-3 years ago. It just wasn't at that point in the timeline, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like
Was
you
that
weren't
that
at
point?
that point too. Like,
Hell no.
listen, 4 years ago was COVID, and we were kind of like huddled up. A lot of people, including myself, I feel like didn't take advantage of the time. But I feel like over the years, you were always one of those people that just didn't give a fuck about what other people thought about you, taking that risk, putting your face online, making those crazy ass TikToks, trying to farming engagement on there during COVID,
Them corny ass TikToks. I made
corny little
one too many.
dances and sounds, and now you look at you now, like you got a professional setup for a podcast. You're doing well with the studio. You got people coming in and out. You're a one-stop shop now for videography too.
Facts. I mean
It's all
I've
good
yet
things.
hell yeah. Oh my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
I've yet to sell the first music video and shit, but I'm sure like cuz there's artists that be pulling up here asking me about shit. But I mean, like you said, what I'm saying, like in COVID shit was like how like the studio was and shit. It was like, what I'm saying? It took some time to get to this point. Like it was not, what I'm saying, like
Right.
at this point like COVID, I was still going to school in LA. What I'm saying? Shit was hell uncertain. Like I came back, finished the school online, and then obviously like the studio opened like a week after I graduated and shit. And it's like I wasn't
Turnaround.
even. I swear, when the studio opened, I didn't even know Pro Tools at all. Like, and the school didn't teach me Pro Tools. Like I learned Pro Tools just by doing it. And that's with like Adobe Premiere. Like the other day, I downloaded Adobe Premiere. I was just like, I didn't
That's
even
just
really
video,
look shit
right? For
up.
the people that don't know, Adobe Premiere is just video.
Yeah, Adobe Premiere is a video editing software, but it's like a professional video editing software. So if you got a nasty camera like these two right here, you know what I'm saying, you throw that footage in Adobe Premiere, and then you could throw like, what I'm saying, it's like CapCut on steroids. That's kind of how I see Logic
CapCut. That's what
Logic
the
Pro
TikTokers
X.
be using, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
J CapCut. Yeah,
I feel like CapCut is for the people that the people like you last week who use their phones for videography.
I was dead ass using CapCut last week. I
what
still
you used
kind of
to edit the
am.
last pod?
Yeah, the first podcast
Oh,
was
there you
shot
go.
on the iPhone, edited in CapCut. The second podcast shot on the Sony AV4, edited on Adobe Premiere. It's crazy what
Rags to
two
riches.
episodes. Nah, for real, rags to riches in 2 podcast episodes. Oh
Right.
God, that shit is crazy.
Literally like a
That
week
shit's crazy.
turnaround.
That shit is unreal. That shit
No,
is
but yeah,
crazy.
like you were saying, man, time flies and you don't go nowhere unless you take risks, and that's what you've been doing. You've been investing in yourself, investing in your future. The money that you make in the business goes back into the business. That's how you grow. So
Hell yeah.
a lot of people like to take profit and pay themselves a salary when they're starting a small business. The more you pay yourself, the less money the business has to operate and grow.
Hell yeah. Nah, for real. You
That's
gotta
business 101 right there.
you just for real. Nah, you gotta put yourself out there, and I feel like not giving a fuck is huge because honestly, nobody really gives a fuck. I feel like if you tell yourself that, it kind of what I'm saying, it makes you fearless in terms of like making music videos. Like there was a hump I needed to get over when I first started like doing music videos and shit. Like
Yeah.
I was kind of like I was making the music and I kind of knew that I needed to make some sort of videos and put my face out there and shit. But you know what I'm saying? It was a hump that I got over, but now it's like fast forward to this podcast. I feel like oh shit, fucking thread. I feel like I could put out the podcast and not worry about like what people gotta say about it. It's just like
Right.
because really it's like we're just chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's nothing. It's like we're just chopping it up. There's
That's
no.
it, man. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people come into it with a narrative too. We got to talk about this. We got, we have notes. We have stuff we want to bring up. We could talk about current events. We could talk about things that are going on in the world, obviously.
Yeah.
But a lot of it feels scripted. Like I hear a lot of people say, there should be less mics in this world. People should have. We can't be giving everybody podcast equipment. Everybody has a podcast. But I feel like a lot of people try a little too hard to fit into that bubble, that podcast bubble, and the more authentic it is, just having a conversation, talking about different things. Obviously, it has to be relatable. You're in the music industry. You want it to be related to music somewhat, and production, all kinds of production. So that's what it's all about. Just being free, and just letting it find its own legs.
Hell yeah. Because I mean, obviously, we are in a studio, so it could be about music, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Like I'm sure whoever else is on the podcast, we could chop it up about any topic. It doesn't need to
Right.
be about music. I mean, it could be music related, and I feel like in the future I will have podcasts like where there are artists and just like creatives on here and shit. But I mean, it could be about music, but it's not really like I feel like this podcast is kind of just like you can just pull up and chop it up. It doesn't need to be. It could just be like what I'm saying. It's like a freestyle type shit. Like how
Yeah,
people pull up
yeah.
to the stew and freestyle. It's like the podcast is kind of like a freestyle. It's not like what I'm saying. It's not like you have to pull up here and you got to talk about this shit. It's like no, we could pull up here, talk about cameras. We could pull up here, talk about fucking weed.
Yeah.
You could pull up here and talk about bitches. You could pull up here and talk about whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is the studio, and when people pull up here, they essentially talk about whatever. Like people pull up here and they talk about whatever the fuck comes to their mind. Like people,
I'm sure you'll have
it
more
ranges.
artists on. I mean, you had Delic on week 1, right?
Yeah, Delic. Shout out Delic.
Shout out Delic. That was
He
a
will
dope
be
pod.
back. Yeah, he'll be back soon for sure. I'm gonna have a bunch of episodes with Delic. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like Delic, even Delic's music, he be saying whatever the fuck he wants, and I respect that. Like I feel like a lot of people, certain genres, people will pull up here and feel like they need to say something specific. But Delic is the type of dude where he'll say exactly what's on his mind, and he's not ashamed about it at all.
riffing.
Yeah, nah, for real. He
riffing.
goes in there, he's like expressing himself to the max, and I appreciate that. Like he's not, what I'm saying, he's not trying to be another artist. He's not trying to be the next artist. He's literally just being himself, and his music displays that. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, it's hard for people to do that shit, to actually make music that they like, as opposed to like what people are expecting from them or what people might like. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Everybody's got
shit.
different goals, whether it's to make it big. Eventually, if you make it big and you put yourself in a box that you're not, you portray yourself to be somebody you're not. People are gonna start expecting you to be that person that you faked to make it, and then it's gonna be really hard to keep up that face that you put on to get to that level. So if you make it just being yourself, it's gonna be really easy to continue to be yourself, and that's what a lot of people miss nowadays. They try to be somebody they're not. And it's really hard to keep that up because you don't even know who that person is, and that's how people lose themselves too.
yeah, nah, but I do feel like because I drop music under my own name, I feel like just for that sole reason, it's easier for me to be myself, and it's easier for
You have
me
no
to
choice
not
but to be
feel like,
yourself.
yeah, like let's say when I first started drop music in 2017, let's say I went by like an alias or yeah, whatever that word is. Let's say I went by like a
Yeah,
nickname or
alias.
some shit.
Mhm.
I feel like me alone going by that nickname, it might be harder for me to keep that shit up as opposed to me going by my name.
Right.
I know I've always been a musician, so I feel like going forward, it kind of is easier for me to just like do my own shit. So I feel like if you have a name, if your birth name works, I feel like you could go by a birth name. You don't even need like a stage
Right.
name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it really depends because like a lot of like rappers, you know what I'm saying, stage names or whatever. But You
I
know,
feel like your name
whatever.
fits a stage name too. Like Jesse Eplin is short, it's sweet, it's not too much on the tongue. Pause.
Yeah.
You
Nah, I
know,
was
like,
just about to
mine
say,
is like a little
short and
bit
sweet.
Anthony Ammerman. You know, it's not really a stage name. You might want to change it up and shorten the last name, make it a different name.
But you already know the stage name. We got Barnacles.
Yeah. I don't know.
Barnacles.
I don't
We
know if we
gotta
could
go
bring
by
that up.
Barnacles.
You know, it's kind of on the back. It's been on the back burner. We have we
Barnacles.
probably got like a whole album worth of music that we put together the last 2 years.
Hell yeah. I'd say a majority in 2023. Yo,
Yeah.
one track in 2024, beast. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not good. We
You
gotta
kidding me?
we gotta step on the gas a little bit. I know it's been a while.
Yeah, yo, I'm telling you, we gotta start cooking again. But yeah, yo, we
We got some bangers in the
Barnacles,
vault
yo.
though. We got some bangers in the vault.
Hell yeah. Nah, I swear to God, like they don't even know, the shit we got. Like we be bumping it, me, you and Pete. We just be in the basement bumping the shit. Like, damn, they don't even know what's in the vault type shit. But it's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Eventually when we drop it, people will be like, oh, all right, that shit's gonna be tough though.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
telling you, it's
it'll come
tough.
to life eventually. And you
I'm
know,
not
although we
cooking.
say to be yourself and keep your name as your stage name, I'm gonna have to go with a different one because I don't think my name fits a stage name. But
I mean, really,
I'm
like,
gonna have to keep that persona, the Barnacles persona.
yeah, but like the Barnacles, like, it's funny. I was actually gonna talk about Barnacles. Like, when I imagine Barnacles, I imagine you just like in some like fly ass sunglasses and like the black turtleneck, like up to, you know what I'm saying? The turtleneck, the sunglasses, and like some fresh ass Jordans. That's
Nice gold
Barnacles.
chain. Nice gold
And just
chain,
like a
nice
straight
piece.
face, like no, like it's just a straight face.
Yeah.
Like that image is hard to keep up, but it's like that shit'll be hilarious. Like Barnacles,
Maybe even the shiesty
with-
too, ski mask.
the shiesty, yeah. I mean, not even the shiesty. Like I feel like if you have some fresh ass shades, like some future shades, and you know what I'm saying, like the turtleneck, like a fucking dripped out like designer turtleneck, but it doesn't even need to say nothing. It could just be like a fancy black turtleneck, with just like
Yeah, that's
fucking
tough.
dripped out Jordans. Barnacles.
Yeah.
Nah, well, you don't got to go by Barnacles. I feel like a stage name is something that, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, that's a nickname that, like, me and Pete call you. I mean, we got a lot of nicknames and shit, but
But I feel like it fits the
be-
persona of like me on the beat too. Like I keep it light on the beat, you know. Like we just like free flow on the beat. It's not really, you know, it's not sad. It's not sad rap. It's not like I'm not really pouring my heart out into at least the songs we've made so far. So I feel like it kind of fits my persona on the tracks we've put together. At least the name Barnacles. It sounds stupid, you know. It reminds me of SpongeBob, but
Barnacles.
it kind of goes with the flows that we be putting together on the songs.
I mean, like, you know,
Barney. I mean,
it's a
you always call
Barnacle
me
beat.
Barney since we were young, so Barnacles kind of fits.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like it's crazy, like, where Barney came from, because we used to call you Amphi, we used to call you Fred, we used to like Fettuccine, Alfredo. I mean, that's really. I feel like my dad used to call you that, but we had so many nicknames for each other, like over the years and shit. It's fucking hilarious.
Barnacles is a culmination of all the nicknames we've put together over the years.
Yeah, I feel like Barney low-key came from like Arnold, like, you know what I'm saying, like Arnold Schwartz. You know what I'm saying, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Anthony
but yeah,
became
that's-
Arnold. Arnold became Barney. Arnold became
Yeah.
Barnals. Barnals, then Barnacles.
That's what I'm saying. So Barnacles kind of, you know, when we call you Barnacles, it's not even SpongeBob. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hilarious, but I feel like Barnacles came from like its own, you know what I'm saying? It came from its own like origin.
Yeah.
So I feel like Barnacles, and like you
Humble
said, like
beginnings from Barnacles.
like-
Mother Nature calls, man. Mother Nature
back,
calls.
took a brief piss break. So back into the Barnacle shit. So pretty much like Barnacles, like it does. I feel like it does match the music because, like, you know, music is subjective, right? Like when everybody grows up, they all have like different musical backgrounds. Like, you know what I'm saying? I grew up listening to like, you know, fucking hard rock, classic rock, like R&B shit, and like you listen to like country.
A lot of like hick country, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like you listen to a lot of country, so I feel like, you know, Barnacles, like I feel like it low key, you got like that hip hop, but it's also like that country twang in the tracks.
Some of these
So I feel
songs
like,
have that twang.
like Barnacles. You know what I'm saying? Like Barnacles.
Yeah,
like,
we're-
it
Park
just
my-
matches,
What
you know
was
what I'm
that?
saying?
What was that bar? You know, leave my pickup truck. Back in my truck.
Oh, in my truck, yeah.
Airbnb on a hole where
Oh
I'm
my
parking my
God,
truck.
yeah.
Yeah,
Airbnb
so
on
we
a
got that
hole where I'm
we got
parking my
that twang on some bars.
Airbnb on a whore, I'm parking my truck.
I channeled my roots
yeah.
on that bar.
Yo, I really felt like that shit reminded me of like being upstate, like on the fucking the
Right on a
quad.
nice big piece of land.
Like on the quad, like Airbnb on a whore, I'm parking my truck, yeah. And the
that
quad
thing
is just
flows.
trekking through the mud, like in the mud, like in the
Yeah.
fucking forest and shit.
Mhm.
Shit is tough.
Yeah, for a long time,
It's
I
tough.
remember growing up. Like I was never into that hip hop, that rap, literally never. And all of my boys in Canada, like when we were in high school, you know, middle school to high school, we started really getting into rap. At least you did. And every time you would put on rap, I was like, yo, just turn the shit off. I remember vividly,
Yeah, I
I
remember
was
that.
not into rap. Like I wanted to just throw on like some EDM because when I was in college, we used to play party music all the time. And I spent 4 years at Villanova, and everybody was into that EDM, like Calvin Harris, Kygo, um, which like all these big EDM DJs and all that party music. And then
Facts.
eventually I started getting into the rap, and now it's like kind of exclusively what I listen to: hip hop, rap, R&B, you know, smooth flows like that too.
Hell yeah. Nah,
Less country
facts.
though.
I do remember in high school when we used to play like even like Future or some shit like
Mhm.
just rap. I remember you like turn that shit off. Used to fuck with like country, but I feel like also more so pop music too. I
Yeah.
mean, like pop music is fire too, but like you know what I'm saying. I feel like back in the day, like when we were in high school, Future and that type of shit used to hit more. Nowadays, I find myself not even listening to rap like that and shit. I'll listen to whatever. I listen to what like clients record. I don't even put on like I listen to like the shit that we used to listen to.
Yeah.
I don't like the artists that I fuck with. I kind of just like the shit that we used to listen to and shit. But I mean,
I used to make fun of them.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this doesn't take any talent, bro. Like, this is just, I don't even understand what they're saying. But, like, you know what really humbled me? Trying to rap myself. Then you're like,
Yeah.
wait a second. This is a lot harder than it looks.
nah, but yo, they didn't even hear the shit we made. Like I'm telling you, the shit we got is like I'm really confident like that our best shit and my best shit is
Yeah.
like unreleased. I swear to God, like
Might
the
have to
shit that
close
we
out this
have.
pod with a good song at the end that we put together. Just a little sample.
Facts. Maybe even like the root of my problems joint or fucking
Right. Root of my problems.
root of my
That goes
problems.
hard.
Cause yo, we got remember during the summer we were on the skis. I was like let's say we ever shoot a music video for that. I got the footage of the skis. So you know what I'm saying we could always take that footage and throw some footage with the cameras we get. You know what I'm saying? Pete, you know what I'm saying? He could shoot the video. You know what I'm saying like he's a lawyer turned videographer. Now that we got the cameras,
Right,
Pete
right.
is gonna have to get his videography skills.
We could honestly put
Facts.
this neck strap around Pete and put like a waterproof housing on these cameras, and he could have it secured to his neck and take music videos. I'm not kidding. They make fully waterproof housings for these like really super legit cameras, and people take underwater video and you know crazy underwater images. They enter like photography contests of like whole underwater ocean reef scenes. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But that's how
shit's
that's how these
crazy.
people take those kind of photos. They take these elite professional cameras, as expensive as they are. They put them in a good waterproof housing, and they'll take them like a couple 100 feet under. It's wild.
Yeah, that shit is crazy because it's like, how do you even guarantee that a shark ain't gonna come by and just eat the whole shit,
Right.
just munch it whole? Next thing you know, the camera is videoing a fucking
Or even some water
shark
getting in, the whole
inside
thing
of a shark.
breaks. I mean, those housings should come with insurance because I'd be damn pissed if you buy one of those $10,000 cameras and that water gets in. Oof.
Yeah, right. What's it called? Even when I shot the Hamptons video with Mel, right? So I was on the jet ski and he was shooting like on the boat. Like he was like, you know what I'm saying? He was shooting the video like off the boat. And I feel like the boat, you're a little bit higher up. So I feel like maybe like with the boat, you don't need that type of shit. But on the jet ski, I feel like if we always try to take these cameras on a jet ski, you might need to put some waterproof housing
Oh,
on it.
for sure.
Because it's going to get splashed. And honestly, these cameras are too expensive to get salt and shit.
Too
But
much to take
you
that
got-
risk.
You got the 2-year protection plan, but still, I don't want to fucking. Yeah.
This is no GoPro, you know.
Nah, yeah.
This is a whole different ball game. So
Yeah, nah, that shit is different. This shit is absolutely, it's different.
we'll see. We got to reevaluate next summer.
Hell
When
yeah.
we have more time and we can have the weather to get on the skis. Because right now it's been
Facts.
we're at that bone chilling cold temperature in Long Island, New York.
Facts. I'll be seeing like boats on the water and shit. Camera technical difficulties,
Camera
but we
comical.
are back. The camera is being comical. Facts. That shit is crazy. More
As-
technical difficulties, different technical difficulties. More money, more problems.
Yeah, literally, this is a classic case of mo money, mo problems.
Nah, for real.
As good as these cameras are, it takes a lot of getting used to, and it's only gonna get better the more you keep trying different things with it.
Facts.
Like I said, there's so many different settings on it that like
I want to flip the screen.
when the camera stops recording, it takes like 10 minutes for me to even. I gotta look up like the little lingo that the camera uses just to understand what the heck is going on.
Yeah, nah, this shit is a learning curve for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nah, for real, more money, more problems. Shout out Sony for this great camera, but your shit be overheating. I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong SD card.
I don't think it's
or
overheating.
some.
I really don't. I think it would tell you overheating if it's overheating.
I mean, I'm telling you, like the last time I was using it, the first time I used it, it was overheating. Like I'm telling
Really?
you, the first time, like I was using it on the highest setting, recording for like 15 minutes.
Did it say overheating though?
Yeah,
It
like
did?
overheat, cool down. Yeah, like
Interesting.
yeah, I'm telling you. But that camera is known.
Maybe
It's known
you
to
know
have that
You know
problem.
what it might
It's
be?
fucked up.
It might be the memory card that's overheating because the one that I just said you bought is something that can't even withstand some of the settings you have on your video. So that's an easy upgrade though. Like I said, we could just upgrade the memory card, and I think it'll fix a lot of the problems.
Hell
Anyway,
yeah.
where were we?
Thanks.
Jet skis is very cold. We're gonna be trying out some new things next summer and hopefully get some good footage.
Some music videos for the Johns that we cooked.
Mhm.
We got a lot of good stuff in the vault. A lot of good vibes. Just like music that you could listen to. It's not like no, you know what I'm saying, doesn't have a bad message, doesn't has just a good sound to it, a good vibe.
Yeah,
Just overall good vibes.
we put a little heart and soul into it in some of our songs. Root of My Problems, definitely.
Facts. Got to go deep in the dirt.
You gotta go.
That
deep
shit
in
is
the dirt.
crazy.
Yeah.
Also the
That's some bangers though.
Also, I gotta go and she be begging me to stay.
See, man.
I don't want to give him too much though. I don't want to give him too much of the tracks we got. You know what I'm
Some of these hooks are straight heat. Straight heat. And I was just riffing off of like when we were putting these songs together, you know, I'd kind of let you do your thing, kind of put together a little bit of the melody, a little bit of the hook, and then I'd just be riffing off of your hooks.
Yep, pretty much.
So you kind of made my job easier as somebody who like, you know, I don't do music like that, but it's a heck of a lot easier to hop on a track when you have that hook in your head and you can kind of just go off of that and put together your verse based on what you already put together. You know how the song's
like the
going to go,
assist. Yeah.
you know?
Pass to assist.
It's like a lot right up the rim. All I got to do is tap it in.
Like D Wade and LeBron. You know that picture where it's that infamous, you know what I'm saying, D Wade
Yeah.
lobs it up to I'll put that picture in this podcast somewhere. D Wade lob it up to to
Yeah.
Breed.
Why don't we throw one of those in the corner right
Breed.
here? Right
Yo, I just want to say one thing because I was really thinking about this yesterday. I think I'm gonna be devastated when LeBron retires. If I'm being completely honest,
Yeah, right.
I think it's just gonna be one of those days where LeBron retires and I might not leave the crib.
Right.
I might just like take a nap the whole day and just lay in the darkness.
Take a day
Just
to
thinking
reflect.
about Breed. Just thinking about LeBreed. Because honestly, I seen a video of it like literally yesterday. And dude was like, yeah, if LeBron retires, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. He's right. Like, what are we going to do? Like, we still watch the NBA? Like, we're watching Wemby? Like, who the fuck we watching?
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Wemby.
lot of new talent in the league. Obviously, LeBron did say
That's
he's got like
LeBreed.
maybe 1 or 2 years left, but he's gonna hang it up when he feels like he's not contributing to the game like he wants to. Like you know, LeBron, the second he's not able to contribute and at least compete for a title, that's all he wants, right? He's gonna hang it up.
So you're saying he's not going to go to like 45 and average like 15 points a game
I just don't
with
see
with a broken ankle or some shit.
I don't
God
see
forbid.
I don't see LeBron like putting up 7 shots a game. You know, he's got to be effective or he's not gonna play the game.
He's averaging the lowest amount of points in his career since his rookie season. You know that? I was
I think
looking
he's
at
at
his
like
stats.
22.
22. That's low for Breed. He
Yeah.
never goes below 25. He's a 20. He scores 27 points a game for his career, which is ridiculous.
You know what is crazy?
Every game.
One of the craziest
27.
LeBron stats ever. He hasn't scored less than 10 points in a game since 2007.
I'm pretty sure he scored 10 points like last week too.
Last
Oh
week,
my God.
he hit a free
Oh,
throw.
no.
I think it was the fourth quarter. He hit a free throw and he finished with 10 points. But you know they weren't taking him out until he got to 10.
10
There's
points.
no way. That's
Oh my
the
God.
craziest stat.
If LeBron is struggling to put up 10 points, it's almost wraps for Breed.
That was an off game though. I think he was like 4 for 13, 4 for 15. So he didn't shoot the ball well and he wasn't taking a lot of shots. But
Because I'm telling you, yo, like, we were born in 99, so we never got to see Jordan play. And
Yeah.
when we have kids, our kids are going to be like, if you ever seen LeBreed play, I'm proud to say, yes, I have seen LeBreed play in person. I've seen him at the
Right.
Garden, but I've also seen him when I was going to school in L.A. So I remember I was sitting in the nosebleeds, and I seen Breed. This was when he was still wearing number 6. I think it was like
Mhm.
2019. And I just remember, like, being in the nosebleed, seeing Breed in L.A. I'm like, wow, this is surreal. And, yeah, it's just,
every
It's gonna be
generation has
different.
their GOAT. He's definitely ours. That's for sure.
and it's like,
He's a couple generations GOATs. That's how long he's playing. Like 2 generations.
yeah, it's
of fans.
like, obviously I'm a diehard Knicks fan, but it's kind of hard to. I got to give credit where it's due. LeBreed, is just he's the GOAT. I know you do believe in Jordan, and me and Pete
We got
be
some
debating
differing
this,
opinions.
but as in terms of just like a pure bucket, he's just
I think it's
he's
how you
just
define
the
your GOAT.
bucket.
Every time somebody brings up this conversation, I delve it back to how do you define your GOAT? Is it who had the GOAT career? If we're talking about who had the best career of all time, you got to factor in LeBron's longevity. If you're talking about who is the best player to ever touch a basketball, my answer is Jordan. I feel like I've seen enough footage of Jordan playing that like this man is the biggest bucket of all time. But LeBron does things Jordan could never do. Jordan was never average. He was never putting up 10 assists a game. That wasn't his play style. They're different players. He's a shooting guard.
Yeah, it's different players, different physicality, and I feel like LeBron obviously isn't the most winningest player, but in terms of just like a skillful player, like what I'm saying, I feel like he maxed out. Like if you're building a player in my career, like I feel like
Oh, you're
Bree
taking
is
LeBron
that
every
one
time.
exception where he maxes out almost every category, and you can't. You know what I'm saying? He chase down block. You know what I'm saying? He could pull up three. He could literally do everything.
We played enough 2K to know that you're taking LeBron's team. LeBron's dream team, Cavs or Heat over the MJ Bulls every time.
Like if you play with no fatigue and you sprint with Bron down the paint, who is stopping Bree? Like nobody is stopping Bree.
The only
with a no
comparison is
fatigue.
2K.
With no
in
fatigue.
2K is Giannis. That's the only
Yeah.
comparison.
You gotta hit him with the spin move if you're gonna play with Giannis, though. You gotta, because Giannis is like, I feel like he's not as like shifty as Bree. Like Giannis is a little, he's like LeBron is just
Handle-wise.
like LeBron, like Heat LeBron. When you're, what I'm saying, going down the paint with Heat LeBron, it's just he's so athletic. Like Yanni, you kind of need to do a little, like a spinner move, or you kind of need to, you got to do something a little bit else with Giannis. But Giannis is still, what I'm saying, he still got it too, though.
Both are guys that you're either going to draw a foul or absolutely baptize somebody at the rim.
Yeet. And then if you want to baptize somebody from the 3-point line, obviously, Curry. Obviously,
Yeah, he's a glitch too. It's
Glitched
just different
out.
play styles, man. Eventually, I think if
Curry.
Curry wins one more chip with the Warriors somehow with these young Bulls that they got, he's going to be in the goal conversations.
Don't you think it's wild though that Harden is number 2 ever in threes? I always knew he was a bucket. I always I remember he was on the Rockets. He was a bucket. Like he would put up like 52 points with ease. Like Harden, like prime
Remember
Harden.
he had a 60-point triple-double a couple years ago?
Yeah. 60,
That was when Westbrook
10,
was going
12.
crazy too.
That's like actually like
We were
he really-
spoiled that season.
Was that 2017?
I don't even know what year. That year that Westbrook averaged a triple-double, they were talking about Oscar Robertson, the only player to average a triple-double in NBA history.
Oh my God.
Russ went crazy. Oh, my
I
God.
think that's 2017. No, it's 2016. I don't even know, but yeah, Russ. He just got his 200 triple double the other day.
I think
It's crazy.
is that the most all-time? It might be the most all-time.
Yeah, and he was at 199 for like a while because he was obviously he's on the Lakers. I feel like he probably shouldn't have went to Lakers, but I mean, I feel like they
He's been
weren't good to
bouncing
Russ. The Lakers were not good to Russ.
People don't give him as much respect as he deserves.
Nah, he was a beast. He was
People like to bring up rings. That's all people care about nowadays. That's the only way to compare generations, it seems. How many rings you win? How many rings you win? But there's something to be said about LeBron going to how many 10 straight finals? I mean,
you have
it's harder
role
than winning
players.
one ring for sure.
You have role players that have like quadruple the rings as stars. You know what I'm saying? It's like, some
About getting
people get
lucky if you're
carried.
an old guy.
Some people get carried to the chip. Like it is what it is. Like obviously, you got stars that's never gotten Harden, obviously he's second at 3 points, but he's never won a chip. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
even like Paul George, Dame, you know what I'm saying? They don't got chips, but then you got guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He spent his whole career as like a borderline role player, and he won 2 chips, both against the Heat, which is crazy because he's on the Nuggets, one against the Heat, and then he was on the Lakers, one against the Heat.
Right, he's got as
crazy.
many chips as KD.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It's
Kentavious
crazy.
Caldwell-Pope.
Not
yeah.
the same player, so it's hard to compare rings. That's why it's hard to compare Jordan and LeBron.
feel
But
like
you just got to give both the respect, man. This life is too short to just brush LeBron aside and be like, Jordan's my GOAT, Jordan's my GOAT. And as LeBron gets older, that's what I've been doing. Like, it's easy to say, this player is the best of all time and start arguing with people. You just got to put respect on, this is our generation's best player we've ever seen. And you just got to appreciate him, before he retires.
Yeah,
To still be dominant at 40 years old is something that's never happened in most sports. Most sports, if not all sports.
Yeah, for my eyes, like I feel like he's the best basketball player that I've ever seen live and like in person and just like by seeing videos. Like it's kind of hard to deny at this point, at least in our generation. I feel like comparison is the thief of joy. Like what I'm saying. I feel like we can't just appreciate their games. We have to compare them, but it's like Jordan was the GOAT of his era, and LeBron is the GOAT of his era.
Right.
It's just there will be a new GOAT. Maybe it's Wemby. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great
Maybe
saying, though.
it's,
Comparison is the thief of joy. Yep.
Yeah, because it's like people are too busy comparing, but it's like you're not actually appreciating what is there in front of you. It's just you're just so quick to compare. You know what I'm saying? Just because like there's more greatness out there, but it's like it's like the context matters though. You know what I'm saying? It's like Bree and Jordan, like obviously two undisputed GOATs, but two different time periods and two different. You know what I'm saying? It's like almost uncomparable because like there's so much the context completely different. So.
Yeah.
We're in a new game. You know what I'm saying? Like heads are, they walk up to the court and they're shooting threes from deep. They weren't doing that in Jordan's era.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? They
It's
were
a totally
just,
different play style nowadays.
Yeah,
People say it's harder to play in the league. There's just better athletes too. It's easy to call the old guys plumbers. I don't think they were plumbers. I know you like to say,
oh yeah,
Jordan was up against plumbers.
Jordan played against plumbers. I mean, if Jake was here, you know what I'm saying, he would agree with that
Very
Jordan
easily.
played against plumbers. But honestly, if you watch NBA today, there's still airballing shots. Shots
yeah.
that should go in. Like
They're taking some stupid ass shots though.
Like I was at the game the other day. Like they still be airballing. They still be making dumbass plays. Like it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like people in like even if you're in the NBA, they still be making mistakes out there. It's not like they are like they're the best of the best. But even though they are the best of the best, they're still making shooting terrible shots, making crazy mistakes, and just like not playing good basketball, even in the NBA. So it's like, to say Jordan was playing against janitors, I feel like there's probably janitors in the NBA right now, but it's like
the pace was slower though
no,
back then.
I don't want to.
It's a little bit harder to score when the pace is a lot slower. There's so much fast break offense now, lobs and threes, and Steph Curry and Clay changed the game. They're taking pull up threes when you got a 2-on-1 fast break. That would have never happened back in the day.
It's a different game.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Curry literally broke the NBA because now just anybody think they can just pull up from deep, and it's like, I seen a video the other day. It was like they're straight up just shooting threes. It was like Lakers game versus like I don't even know. They were just for three solid minutes. There was no drives. It was just straight up walk up.
You talking about the Lakers clip where there was like 3 air balls in a matter of 2 possessions.
It was more so like 10-3 shot in a row. Like there was no driving.
Crazy.
Like it was just straight up like dribble up 3, inbound, dribble up 3. You know what I'm saying? Rebound. Just
What
threes.
the hell is going
like,
on in
just
these
threes.
coaches' huddles is my question.
Just threes. Because obviously
There's no way the coach is writing all that up.
Well, it makes sense though, because if you keep going up by threes and the other team's going up by twos, it makes sense why teams utilize the 3-ball. And nowadays you need the 3-ball. If teams are shooting 3-pointers, what are you gonna do? Not shoot 3-pointers? You need shooters on an NBA team.
For sure.
It's just you need 3-point shooters.
It's just like 1 through 5 shoots now. It used to be like you had 2 3-point shooters on the floor max at a time.
Like Cat. Like Cat. You ever see Cat shoot threes? He's just like the biggest guy on the floor. He's just
Get in the damn
shooting.
paint, yo. Go for the offensive rebound.
Yo, Cat is nice, yo. And also, apparently, like, Minnesota Timberwolves fans, apparently they hate Randall. So now they know what we be going through when we used to watch Randall with these terrible turnovers. Like, he used to put his back to the fucking in the post, and they just pick his pocket, like, every time.
Yeah, when he's off,
Randall.
it's an ugly play style. But when he's on, he's dominant.
Bull,
He uses his body well.
Bull in the China shot Randall. Yeah,
That's
I
really
feel
what
bad
he
for
is.
y'all. Like, he was a beast, don't get me wrong, but a very low IQ player. Like, you know what I'm saying? Karl Anthony Towns is a high IQ player. Jalen Brunson, high IQ player. Randall,
Right.
he plays so erratic that it's like teams like they can't deal with it. And obviously, he's on Timberwolves now, but I mean, yeah, the Timberwolves fans are not having Randall.
Yeah.
His play style is just like, you know what I'm saying?
It definitely
too
takes
erratic.
some getting used to. Just like the Knicks struggled early on. It'll take some getting used to. And I really think they should have just, once they got Mikal Bridges, I thought they should run it back because they had a hell of a year last year. They had a pretty deep run. And I thought, you just improve your team, run it back now. You got a great wing player who does well on both ends of the floor. It's only going to improve your team, Let Mitch Rob come back and just trust the process. But
Yo, they were saying his shot was broken. Like, he's cash. They were saying the shot was broken because it looks funny, but he's still making the
he
shot.
fixed it.
So as long as he's making the shots,
he had
I
a
don't care.
hitch, though, the first week.
Like,
Get a
yeah.
weird hitch.
Like, if your shot looks like Tyrese Halliburton's, but you're still making the shot, like, just keep shooting like that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, obviously people are gonna. He looks stiff as a board when he's shooting, but I mean, if it's going in, then it's going in. Keep shooting, Bridges. Keep shooting. Facts. Yeah, remember that Melo interview? I'ma keep shooting. He's right. You just got to keep shooting because that's the only way to break a cold spell is by keep shooting. Like, let's say if you went 0 for 10 or 0 for 15, like, let's say you're just missing everything. The only way through that cold spell is by shooting. Yeah. And Melo taught me that. Like, you just got to keep shooting.
It applies to life, too. I'd rather you go 2 for 30 than 0 for 4. It means you stop shooting.
I wonder if I could clip that interview in this video in this podcast.
If I miss a couple shots in a row, I always think that.
I think he shot like 30 something shots a game. Maybe only hit like 7 of them. Like it was just a atrocious shooting game for Melo. Temp too high, cool down.
It did.
Yeah, you see that shit?
It might be the temperature. It might not be the memory card.
I'm telling you, like they were saying this about the camera.
I only got one angle for now, as the other one cools off.
Facts. Yeah, Sony.
Some high maintenance cameras, man. High maintenance cameras. They're like women.
Yo, nah, for real.
You got to give them time to cool off.
That shit, it will never be good enough. It will never be good enough.
Yeah.
But yo, nah, for real though, Sony. You know what I'm saying? If people are spending an arm and a leg and their left nut on your camera, you got to make sure the shit don't overheat because like we're trying to shoot a podcast over here. We got 2 Sony monsters and they're both fucking. Right. They're both cutting out. It's unacceptable, Sony. That's crazy. The Tony A7 IV.
Yeah, we traded the iPhone for Karl Anthony Towns and we're struggling out of the gate.
Yeah. Yo, nah, for real. That shit is crazy. Karl Anthony Towns. It really feels like I traded the Karl Anthony Towns. I traded my Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns, and now I got this. Like, I can't wait to see how it looks compared to like the first episode and shit. Like, it's just gonna be night and day. Like, obviously this is the iPhone 13. But yo, look at this picture. You know what I'm saying? I want to put this picture in the podcast too. Right. It's beautiful. Like, it's just simply beautiful.
It's a beautiful pet. That's what it is.
Adorable. Yeah, if you got, you know what I'm saying? If you got a beautiful pet at home and you get a nice camera and you photograph the pet with a nice camera, you will be very happy. I'm telling you. Yo, for 12 years, we were taking pictures of Chloe with the iPhone. And then as soon as I got the camera, everybody in my family seeing a difference and they were loving it. You know what I'm saying? They were loving it. So I'm happy I got the camera for a lot of reasons.
See that cute little pet through a different lens, literally.
Like, I feel like the theme of this podcast is, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You invest in yourself and you know what I'm saying? You get what you pay for and you get a lot better quality.
And trial and error. There's a heck of a lot of trial and error right now.
Like, it's still got its setbacks though. Like, obviously this shit's overheating, but it's a fucking dope camera. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, trial and error. You know, you invest in yourself, you invest in good equipment, it's going to come out the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be surprised if you see like a little like floor fan just pointed at the camera next podcast. Keep it cooled off.
Actually,
might
might need to. Yeah. And I turned the low-key, I'm going to turn it off so it gives it a chance to
yeah, turn it off. Yeah, but speaking about the unexpected, a little bit of current events, we could talk about this guy that was just shot in New York City, the CEO of United Healthcare. I think that was yesterday morning. He was going into a business meeting apparently, and he was shot in the back. There's some video on Twitter about it. It's a crazy world, man. And I think my first gut instinct was like, this has to be a hit. How do you know? How do you know where the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company is going to be at a moment's notice? At 6:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, no, it 100% seems like it was a planned, targeted attack. And another thing is too, like, the fact that it was like at 7 in the morning, the fact that he was out of town, like going to a meeting, he was 100% set up, and the fact that there was a suppressor on that gun, like, you could tell it was like that shit was planned meticulously, like. The fact that it was just, you know what I'm saying? And you see in the video, like, he couldn't even, like...
It was getting jammed,
He was jammed up. Yeah, he was... But
like, it almost looked like he was, like, an amateur shooter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's like, this shit won't work. And then he started going back to shooting and shit. But I feel like, apparently, like, suppressors, like, make guns jam. But they're saying that he must have known that the suppressor made the gun jam. So they're saying he's experienced. But listen to this, ready? So...
I mean, he cleared it really quick.
He did. But let me tell you a reason why, like, obviously, I don't think they caught him yet, but it could be a random crackhead because think about it, right? This is why, like, if it were to be a paid hit, they would get some random crackhead. Because think about it. Let's say he actually is a crackhead, right? And they give him the money, he gets all the drugs, and then the dude overdosed or whatever. Now it's like untraceable because they got a random crackhead, and now he OD'd. You know what I'm saying? So somebody could have paid a crackhead to do that shit, and then next thing you know what I'm saying, he did it, and then he gets all the drugs in the world, he kills himself.
If it's not a
from drugs.
crackhead, then it's just somebody who has nothing to lose. You know.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter how, you know what I'm saying? He could have been an absolute, like, I feel like it's not right to kill anybody. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to kill anybody. But at the same time, it's like he probably could have been doing like a lot of, maybe he was doing shady shit. Like it's the CEO of United Healthcare. So, you know.
You got to understand, though, it's a
probably
healthcare company. Like he might have had somebody in his family that was like denied coverage for a healthcare plan they had. And, you know, somebody ended up dying in the family and just couldn't even channel his rage and ended up finding out where the CEO is going to be during a business meeting and just shot him dead.
But it does scream like planned hit though.
Yeah.
Like CEO of United Healthcare. Yeah. Like I remember, was it last year? Like some dude, the CEO of Cash App. I'm pretty sure he got killed in San Fran, like right outside like his like apartment building or some shit. Like that too also screams like planned hit. Like the people like CEOs of big companies just getting like gunned down like that is like, it's like, no, that just doesn't happen randomly. You know what I'm saying? That's not no gang shit. That's like, oh, he's pulling up here, you know what I'm saying? Like, have somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, Lil Durk type shit.
Well, my question is,
Lil
you got
Durk.
all this money. How are you not rolling with, like, some sort of security detail? You know, like private cars, just keep your identity hidden when it's New York City, man. I mean, yes, we just got a new president. There's going to be some things that are changing in New York City, hopefully safety-wise, but you got to have somebody around you just to have an extra sense of security. You know, when you got that kind of money and you're working for that kind of company, you run that kind of company, like United Healthcare. I mean, a lot of people's lives depend on the plans that they're paying or subscribe to with United Healthcare. Somebody dies within the family. I mean, that could cause a whole lot of rage. And if somebody doesn't have, you know, money or a decent life, feels like they got nothing to lose, they just do some shit that they're gonna regret later.
Yeah. Nah, that shit is wild. Also, because, like, the dude, apparently he's from Minnesota, so he's probably pulling up to New York, and he's probably like, oh, just walk into New York City, like, as if I'm in Minnesota. Even though, you know what I'm saying, obviously, like, New York City, it's safe, but it could also not be safe. So it's like you can't just be walking around, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you could tell he was just walking, no security or nothing, but maybe he was thinking, oh, I'm just showing up to a meeting at 7 a.m. He just got gunned down by some fucking crackhead. But obviously,
sad
we'll
regardless.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's better ways to channel your anger, but it does sound like a planned, paid hit. Like, the dude must have gotten some bread. Like, because how could you not? Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. I'm sure he was doing some shady shit. Maybe he was taking bread from the business or something. He was probably doing some fuck shit. And
I heard the company had some bad policies where, like, almost 90% of people that were applying for coverage for a certain procedure were denied up front, and they had to keep going to the company and complaining in order to get covered for a certain, you know, procedure they needed. Otherwise, you got to pay out of pocket. Like, this is a healthcare company. You know, you pay for healthcare, life insurance with them, and if you're denied coverage, all of that comes out of pocket for like a hospital procedure. So I think they were ranked like the lowest as far as coverage goes for some sort of serious procedure. I just can't think of it off the top of my head.
yeah.
But that alone is enough of fuel for some people to act out of rage like that.
Well, yeah, like there could have been like a family member that passed because they couldn't get the right healthcare they needed. They could have passed away because they couldn't afford the surgery. And maybe somebody was just enraged and be like, "Oh, where's he gonna be at?" or some shit.
Yeah, just trying to put some sense into it. I don't know. That's
yeah.
my thought.
But I'm sure, like, you know,
We'll
what I'm
find
saying,
him soon though.
there's
I know
there's
that.
4K in every corner in New York City, so I'm sure like within the next week or two they're gonna find out exactly who did it. And I feel like, will we find out who exactly like planned it? Maybe. I mean, look at Lil Durk, you know what I'm saying? Like a year, 2 years after he did a hit, like, you know what I'm saying, they trace it back to him, but you know, they didn't do that shit smoothly. Like the people who did that Lil Durk shit, they put it all on OTF's card, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like paid for like the flights, the hotels and shit.
It's all traceable stuff though.
That's
It's
what
all
I'm saying.
traceable.
Like, but everything is traceable though nowadays. Like, even like bank statements and just like phone records. You know what I'm saying? Just like fucking video cameras, like 4K. So it's like, You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't get away with that shit. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna find out who did that shit. So, you know what I'm saying?
Only
Like
thing untraceable nowadays, crypto.
crypto,
The only
facts.
untraceable asset that you could, move money around like that and not have it traced back to a certain persona or person
Yeah.
or name.
Speaking about current events, yeah, Bitcoin hit 100K today.
100K.
Do you
Yep,
still
yep.
got Bitcoin or nah?
I don't hold Bitcoin. I do hold XRP. I've been holding that since 2020. My buddy Matty, he put me on 2020 during COVID. I remember we were all sitting in a room together. He's like, bro, this coin has a lot of merit to it. It's for like cross-border payments. Because think about how hard it is to, the only option before crypto was if you wanted to send your money to, say your child that's abroad. He's abroad in Spain. You got to give him money. The only way to get him money, I mean, you have Venmo nowadays, which helps out. But back in the day, it was just wires, sending bank wires. It could take, a day plus. So the difference is crypto takes 5 seconds, So you could send, for example, a coin. They could cash out that coin for, cash, and you could send payments in seconds. So it's revolutionary.
Crypto.
And the market has been popping off, like you said, Bitcoin 100K. A lot of these meme coins are popping off too. You hear about this?
Meme coins, yeah, like obviously, like Elon Musk, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, those are the ones that have been around, but there's other ones too. Like I don't even know.
It's a science. It's so crazy. The ones
Yeah,
that pop off at least.
yeah, it's like there's got to be like some promo behind it. I'm sure there's like some. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a scam, but I'm sure like people could just like promote a certain coin and then just like have people dump into it and then just take out whatever. But I mean, yeah, I mean, me personally, I don't have a lot of Bitcoin. I have Cardano, so hopefully Cardano to the
Cardano
moon.
came back a little bit too.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I got a decent amount of it in 2021, and I was down bad for a minute.
We paid high.
I paid high, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was down for a minute, and it's just coming back. So I'm pretty much just about broke even. It's kind of like I put some bread into Cardano, waited a few years, and said, all right, you still got the same amount of bread.
Back at square one.
Yeah, back at square one 4 years later. So
Zero interest loan that you gave them.
yeah, it's a roller coaster of crypto. You know what I'm saying? I feel like do your research before you invest in a crypto. Like I said, I paid high for my Cardano in 2021. Fast forward to the end of 2024, I'm just exactly where I started. It was a no interest loan, and they said, all right, you spent this much. Here you go.
That's just a classic case though of buying at the peak of a bull run, and then new president came along 2021, and the market kind of crashed. Not a complete crash. And then it, slowly it kind of, held its own for a long time, and now Trump was elected, and people started putting their money, spending their money. That's what happened during COVID. People had money, they thought they had money. They were getting those stimmy checks. They were spending money they didn't even have, and that's kind of what creates a bull run too. It's just optimism. There's something in the stock market called a fear and greed index, and right now it says, I believe, like very high greed right now. So people aren't really fearful of a market crash, especially when we got a new president that hasn't even been inaugurated yet. And they're spending money, more than ever, at least in the last 3 years.
Yeah, honestly, it feels lighter that Trump is in office. Like I feel a shift. I really do. Like the day he got elected, didn't you feel like a weight that was lifted off you a little bit?
Yeah.
Something on my shoulders just felt lighter. Like the air felt a little easier to breathe. And it was kind of just like
too,
shit is
just
back to
between
normal.
People online, it's just too much.
Yeah,
Too much. It's so polarizing, both sides.
and now I feel like everybody who came out the woodworks the last 4 years, I feel like they're all nowhere to be found, and it's just it's. I really do believe that we're back on the right track, at least for the next 4 years. I really do believe we're headed back on the right track. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Trump can only be in office forever, but I do believe that Trump is the right man for the job. And I feel like in terms of like, the wars and shit, making the country safer, making the economy better, I feel like he's the right guy for the job. We needed him. Kamala was not qualified. Like, she wasn't even the original elect, so
I got to give her credit.
I
got to give her credit. They put her in 2 months before an election, and she did a hell of a lot of fundraising. And she spent almost $1 billion on her on her campaign. And listen, it's almost an impossible task to tell somebody we got 2 months till election day, have at it,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Sleepy Joe, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't go any longer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he just pardoned his son too. He's going balls to the wall. He's like, screw it. I got a couple days left. I might as well do everything I said I wasn't gonna do, including pardoning my son for his crimes. But yeah, I feel like that optimism and hope is back in society a little bit. You know, going back to crypto, these meme coins, there's a lot of money to be made. I would stay away from the, you know, the 500x opportunities that you see on Twitter, all these spam pages saying, you know, invest in you know, this shit coin. There's a lot of coins that have a lot of merit to them that could actually perform some function for us, and that's the ones you have to get behind. But the crazy thing is, the only ones that really gain traction, like you mentioned Dogecoin before.
Dogecoin, yeah.
They
I
have
don't have any
some
of that
these meme coins. They follow a narrative. So, you know, I was doing some research. Everybody says the dogs tend to do well. Pets, you know, shit coins that are named after pets tend to do better than, you know, something named after, you know, Lambo coin. You know, everybody loves a Lambo. You would think that would do really well, but it's just not going to hold up. You know, Dogecoin, it became a meme. Yeah, throw it on. Dogecoin became a meme, and it's stuck around. There's like a $15 billion market cap, and there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of investors in a Dogecoin right now. And you know, if anybody wants any recommendations, I'm definitely not qualified to give them. But if you do want a recommendation from me, one that I am long on right now is called Ski Mask Dog. Come back to this podcast episode in a couple weeks. It's up 17,000% in the last 4 weeks, I believe. 17,000%.
Ski Mask Dog.
It was 1,000th of a penny 4 weeks ago, and now it's worth, I believe, 30 cents, which is just like a meteoric rise. So some of them are crazy. And it went viral, and there's a big community on Twitter and all these social pages, and you know, people are just spamming this coin all over social media, and you know, it's gaining traction and it's holding a lot. And the one thing you have to look into with these meme coins is to make sure that the developer of that particular coin does not hold a majority of the coins that are available in the market. So if the developer's holding 50%, you could almost guarantee that thing is going to be rug pulled and you're going to lose all your money.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened with Cardano. I was down bad. I was down bad on Cardano for years and years and years, and I was just like, I stayed with it. I stuck with it, and I'm back at square one 3 years later.
But that wasn't a rug pull. That was more like market sentiment, and people lost hope in you know, spending money in crypto because you couldn't even afford a damn house, couldn't even afford groceries. The last thing people are going to spend is money on crypto.
Yeah, isn't it crazy though how like back in the 50s you could have like a handful of blueberries and get a house? And now, a little tin of blueberries costs $10.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
It's you know, I just hopefully Trump can fix this. Trump, we're counting on you, buddy. Please fix the blueberry search prices. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like Trump. It's so interesting how Trump gets elected and crypto starts booming. Like, what the fuck is that all about? What the hell?
Hopefully, I'm telling you, it's literally optimism. It's not like crypto just did a 180 and all of a sudden, you know, these projects are, you know, revolutionary new technology. The technology is already revolutionary. You know, it's the same technology that was around 4 years ago when people started pulling all their money out of crypto.
Even
so it's really just hope. People are throwing money in because they have hope that they're going to get a return.
Pretty much. I mean, as long as Trump is in office, you know what I'm saying? I feel like maybe I'll pull it out before Trump leaves office, but we'll see. Like, you know, I don't want the Dems to come back in office and that shit starts tanking again.
Well, the bull run only lasts so long. I think by next summer 25, I think the bull run might come to an end because there's going to be a lot of new policies and, you know, overseas tariffs on, you know, foreign goods that might scare people a little bit as far as, you know, the price of goods. But, yeah, enjoy this bull run because it only happens once every couple years, as we've seen. And there's money to be made for the common man who's sitting at home, unemployed, sitting on his computer all day and just looking for a way to make money, you know?
Absolutely. I feel like as time goes on, there's going to be more and more ways to, you know, make money and shit, you know, be your own boss and shit. Yeah. I feel like, you know, it's interesting to see where crypto goes, just like, you know, where a lot of shit goes. Like, I feel like, you know, obviously what you said about optimism, I feel like, you know, the momentum shift of Trump being in office alone, you know, I feel like the next 4 years is going to be a good time in American history. Obviously, there's, you know, some shit that needs to be fixed, but I feel like when in due time, I feel like, you know, I think shit could be a little lighter. Definitely. I do think so. Better than the last 4 years we had from 2020 to 2024. at least for me personally, the past few years, it was tough. It was a learning experience. I was in my early 20s, so I feel like now I'm 25. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm older and shit, and I understand more shit. So I feel like I'm excited for what is yet to come. At least in the near future, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a lot of good shit coming.
Yeah, there's really no
Shout out
excuse
Trump.
not to, especially in a market like this where people are spending that kind of money. There's no excuse not to get off your ass and just find ways to make money, man. I remember when I was younger, I think I was like 10 years old. My mom introduced me to eBay, and I've had an account ever since. I think 2007. I was 8 years old. She showed me how to market, how to put a listing together, how to present your product well, how to sell a product, how to put a nice description, how to just build trust with you and people that are going to view your item that you list for sale. We would go around the house. We would go through different closets, stuff we didn't need anymore, stuff that we haven't even touched in a couple years, and I would put a listing together and just find a way to make a buck. Nowadays, there's just so much opportunity out there, even if you're not working full time, to make $1. Whether it's Gary Vee always telling people to go do garage sales, buying and selling things. I mean, even still, I still have my eBay account. A lot of it is sneakers and clothing now, but back then it was just tchotchkes around the house. I would find things that Ma, do we need this anymore? No, I don't even know. I haven't even seen that in years. Where'd you find that? Perfect. It's going on eBay.
Hell yeah.
I'd throw it on eBay. I'd make $26 on an old action figure set that nobody has seen in a decade, and that's that. And ever since then, I feel like I've had that that entrepreneurial spirit of just trying to make $1.
Hell yeah. Nah, facts. Nah, that's some real shit though. Like just selling shit that you're not using around the crib, whether it be like sneakers, you know what I'm saying, old shirts, jerseys, you know what I'm saying. It could really be anything. You just find shit around the house, go on eBay and flip that shit and make, you know what I'm saying, make some bread off some shit that you're not using. That's just sitting collecting dust. That kind of reminds me of like, remember the Lego minifigures? You know what I'm saying? We used to.
God, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't even know what those are going for, but you already know. Back in the day,
I feel like we
going
still
to
got
Lego
bags
store.
of those sitting at home, right?
Yo, I got all of them. I still got all the Lego minifigures back in the day. Like I'm telling you, like we used to pull up there. How the fuck they not know though? We were just making little minifigures and just like walking out with them and shit.
I feel like the statute
Don't
of limitations
condone that
has
shit.
expired. As far as whether they could prosecute us for jacking a couple minifigures when we were kids, right? I think we could talk about that or not.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to incriminate myself or anybody, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much back in the day, we used to walk in a fucking Lego shop and just, crank out some minifigures and just be like, la-di-da-di-da-di-da, and
Right.
walk right out with that shit. And I still got them to this day. Shout out Lego, man, because I spent a lot of money with Legos. I spent a lot of, shout out, because Legos is fire, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll still put together a Lego set to this day. But
Yeah,
I
they're
swear to
marketing
God,
to adults now. I mean, people are putting together that Lego Technic thing. I just
That's
built
what
a
I'm
damn Eiffel
saying.
Tower that's 6 feet tall, like last year.
That's what I'm saying. I really feel like Legos is never gonna go out of style. The shit
Never.
is like it's fun as hell, but I feel like I spent a lot of money with Legos, so at least they can do is toss me a few. At least they do is toss me a few minifigures.
Those things are so damn expensive, and they don't give you enough damn people with the sets.
Nah, for real. You could just walk into Legos and just like crank out minifigures. They just have little heads and torsos and legs.
For the people that don't know, the thing to do when we were younger, at least on Long Island, I don't know if people did this everywhere else, but our parents would drop us off at the mall, and we would just roam around the mall, go get those free samples at Auntie Anne's, and pick on little snacks, try not to spend money, but we ended up spending money that we didn't have, and we would go into the Lego store, and there was this little station where you could build your own minifigure and buy like a pack of 3 for, I don't even know, probably like $20. They were charging way too much for those little plastic things.
Shits are bread. Yeah.
So you would put together 3 minifigures, and you would bring it to the counter. You would put it in a little plastic case and say, these are my 3 minifigures, and you would just check out. I think it was like $20 for 3 of them. So, there was always like 15, 20 kids huddled around this little building station before you would, put it in the case and go check out. And we would kind of just huddle around, put together, find the little accessories that you would never see in the Lego sets, all the rare accessories, the rare top hat and all that. And we would just, kind of pocket a couple and walk out. And, look around. But, we're 9 years old. Who's batting an eye at a 9-year-old, right?
Nah, for real.
Those
nah,
were the
those
good
are
old
good
days,
times.
man.
Yeah, nah,
Those
for
were the good
real.
old days.
Good times, yo. You know what I'm saying? If we try to do that shit now, they'd look at us crazy. Like you know what I'm saying? You can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? At the time we were like literally fucking I was fucking 4 feet tall, you know what I'm saying? They're not thinking anything of it.
Knowing society
Just a different
nowadays, there's probably
time.
some damn barbed wire around that station.
Yeah, yo, the minifigures probably they're all tapped. Every minifigure you make has like a little, you know what I'm saying?
Got a
like
little
a little
fucking
microphone
like,
in
Apple
it.
Tag type beat on them.
Yeah, yo, that's wild. Yeah, you did like a little sensor. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They could probably track. Oh yeah, you walked out with this shit. Not on my watch.
Right. Next thing you know, you got the GM of the Lego shop, Roosevelt Field, at your door.
Yo, oh my gosh, yo, that shit is crazy. Yeah, the minifigures, they're fucking. Imagine like you know how like in like there's little grooves and legs. They just got like little every single one of them. Just they all got like ankle monitors on them now. I feel like that sounds about
Realistic.
Like, that sounds about right. Like nowadays, that sounds about right. They got ankle monitors on all the little Lego minifigures.
It wouldn't be realistic if they didn't offer the ankle monitor for the Legos.
I ain't trying to give Lego no ideas because that is terrible. Don't do that shit. Don't do no ankle monitor Lego minifigure shit. I ain't with that. Stop that.
Yeah, let's keep it pure, Lego. Come on, lock in.
Yo, nah, for real. This shit is yeah, boats and fucking Eiffel Towers, Lambos. You could.
Yeah, I just built a 9,500 something piece Titanic last year with my brother. It's
Gotta
probably
punch that in here. Gotta punch that. I want you to send me
gotta
the
put a
picture of
photo or
it.
something.
Yo, yeah, you gotta. Also, you gotta low key like the boat too. The boat and the Eiffel Tower is just. It's just
I think they're the
ridiculous.
two biggest Lego sets they made. That's like part of the incentive of why I wanted to buy those two specifically. But me and my brother used to build Legos all the time, like me and you did. And
yo.
we put that Titanic together in like 4 days. It's like almost 6 feet long. It'll probably take up this whole table. And I didn't even know where the heck to put it because it's so much fun to build. Then you got to figure out where the hell you're going to store this thing because you don't want to break it down, right? So I ended up putting it in my room. It took up the entire dresser. And now I'm 25 years old. I got a giant fucking Lego set in my room. But it is what it is, man. It's just showcasing my hobbies, my interests.
It's fly though, especially like with the lights inside of it too. It's fly. Like you can make that shit. It's a real shelf piece. Like it's not it's not even a Lego set. Like it's just a work of art. Like Lego, you know what I'm saying? They be outdoing themselves with these Lego sets.
Right. It's not a little
Shit's
police
crazy.
station.
Like the Eiffel Tower, it's a dope piece. Like that shit is crazy.
Yeah, we put the Eiffel Tower in the living room. I convinced my I'm still living at home, so I convinced my parents, I don't have any room in my bedroom to put this thing, so maybe we can make it a little corner piece. So we put it in the living room, and now my whole family gets to look at the Eiffel Tower when they're watching TV at night.
Nah, facts. That shit is crazy. That shit.
It's fun, man. You got to channel your childhood. You got to stay a child in life, man. It's hard to enjoy life when you're always looking at it through a lens of, being an adult all the time. You got to have fun.
Oh yeah. And I feel like even like, with the music shit, like recording is like what I've been doing since I was like 15. So I feel like even when I pull up here and like I record other people. It's just what I was doing like when I was in high school. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right, as a kid.
When I was literally in 10th grade, I would just
As a hobby.
be recording in the crib. Yeah, as a hobby. I wasn't getting paid to do this shit. And I recorded people for free for the longest time before I even started to like get paid for doing sessions, which is like a blessing because now I can just like make music and get paid for it. There was a long time where it's like I literally, when I was in Tampa, you know what I'm saying, even at home, like I wasn't getting paid to record myself or other people or make beats. It was just something I did out of love of doing it. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you love something so much and you have a hobby, you could possibly monetize it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like if you love something enough, like I feel like you could find a way to monetize it. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like there's got to be a way to monetize anything. Like I feel like everything costs some shit nowadays. So it's like nothing is free besides air and the COVID vaccine. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we ain't get that shit, yo. Yo,
we
dab
stay-
me up for me and
Stay
Barney.
10 toes down on that
Yeah.
that little vaccine.
Yeah, me and Barney, no vax club. Yeah, I that rippled through my family. I'm not gonna lie. Don't mean to get into that whole. I didn't mean to bring up the vax, but yeah, that shit rippled through my family just because I made a decision for myself not to get the COVID.
The
vax.
crazy thing is,
Crazy,
I just
right?
heard something the other day.
Crazy.
Biden was debating or at least mulling over pardoning Anthony Fauci. But why would you need to pardon somebody who didn't do anything wrong? You know what I'm saying?
It's sus.
It's almost like
It's sus.
they're incriminating him by pardoning him. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't do anything wrong, there's no reason to pardon somebody. There's no reason to pardon you. You didn't commit a crime. Why would they have to pardon him?
because they knew that Fauci was lying out his asshole. Because like he was saying
It's-
whatever. Oh, it's not gonna be contagious, even though damn well like I don't even know what the hell he was saying. It was so long ago. I don't even know. That shit was almost 5 years ago. I'm
it's
like
a
not
slap
even,
in the face to the people that did take the vaccine. That you're pardoning the guy that told everybody to take the vaccine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he didn't
Crazy
handle that
world.
well, and I think the world didn't handle it well. I think everybody was a little frazzled, and I feel like that shit obviously made people lazier, and obviously people whatever the case. I feel like COVID, obviously it affected a lot of people, and even like eyes. Like I remember when I was at the eye doctor and shit. Like the doctor was saying that people started looking at the phone so much that people's eyes started going inwards. And around that time, right? So, like, I've had eye surgeries before, but around that time, my eyes actually got worse. Like, because I had lazy eye, but I got surgery for it. But
staring
my
at the
eyes
screen all
started
day.
getting closer. So, I actually, what I'm saying? People's eyes started getting closer from so much screen time during COVID and shit. The fact that all gyms were closed, people couldn't even exercise.
That's the
There
biggest
was a
crime
lot
of
of
all.
shit. There was a lot of other fucked up shit that was going on during that whole time where it's like, we didn't even talk about, like, gyms closing. Like, yeah, I get it, social distancing, but you know what I'm saying? We could have pulled up to gyms with masks and shit, like we were pulling up everywhere else, but they just closed that shit entirely. You know what I'm saying? So there was some foul shit going on. So about the Fauci shit, I'm not surprised.
I remember in New
I'm
York
not
they were
surprised.
encouraging people to take the vaccine by saying the incentive was you get a free Shake Shack burger and fries. You remember that video? He was eating the burger and he's like, "Man, this is delicious. If you take the vaccine, you get a free burger and fries. What a deal!"
It's diabolical.
If you have to convince people to take a vaccine by saying you get a free burger and fries, there's something wrong with society. End of story.
It's diabolical, and it's common sense. If they're rushing a vaccine, you know what I'm saying. I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to rush vaccine in my body. And luckily, at the time, the job or school I was going to, it didn't require it. You know what I'm saying. Whatever it was, I just didn't need to get it, and I made the decision for myself, and I didn't get that shit. And my family was not having it. I was the only one in my family who didn't get it, and I literally got uninvited from my cousin's wedding because there was people at the wedding who didn't want me there because I didn't get the vaccine. So me making that decision for myself literally rippled through my family and caused commotion in my family just because I made a decision for myself. And fast forward to today, you know what I'm saying? I made the right decision, and I was willing to die on that hill of not getting the vaccine. And fast forward now, I'm in shape, I feel good, and it's like I didn't need that shit at all. I've had common colds that were worse than that shit. So you know what I'm saying? I really feel like God is looking out. And, I
Definitely.
just didn't feel like God is really, you know what I'm saying, is in my best interest. So,
You
I'm
take
grateful
care of
that I
your
didn't
body,
get
you
that.
just don't feel the need, especially after we already had COVID. You take care of your body enough to the point where you feel like you don't need to take, an experimental vaccine like that, something that was rushed. It was made in under a year, and there's just no need to take something that you don't feel like your body necessarily needs because you already beat the disease that vaccine is protecting against. And another crazy stat, I think it was my cousin. So I got a lot of little cousins. My family's growing by the day, and as they raise their kids, they're telling me at a barbecue a couple weeks ago that there are 75 vaccines before the age of 18 that your pediatrician recommends for your child now versus when we were younger. I mean, we're only how old? 25 years old. Before we turned 18 years old, there were only a maximum of 25. So there's triple the number of vaccines that they're giving these kids, which means that you're taking, 1875 divided by 18, you're taking 1830, yeah, you're taking like 4 a year. More than 4 a year. For what? How are you giving a 1-2-year-old baby a vaccine against hepatitis? I mean, is that baby going having sex? There's no need to give a baby a hepatitis vaccine. It just doesn't make sense on paper. A lot of people, it's sad because a lot of people blindly trust their doctor, as you should, right? You should, your doctor knows more than you about bodily health. And, when we were younger, a lot of our parents, they didn't know any better. But now the good thing about all this crazy shit that's happening is it's waking up a lot of people, and people are saying that they don't need all of this extra shit that their doctors are recommending. And it's a good thing that it's sad. A lot of people lost their life because of all this stuff. And the one good thing, the silver lining that comes out of it is people are waking up and they're able to think for themselves. We need critical thinking back in society, that's for sure.
Nah, 100%. It's like that's not what people want, or that's not what people that are higher up. That's not what people want to think for yourselves and shit, and do shit on your own terms and shit. It's literally the last thing. Like, and
It's our life, not yours. We should be able to make our decision based on what we want.
yeah, no, 100%. And like that's the thing, right? So like, I didn't take the COVID vaccine, but I took all the other ones that were required. And I remember, I think it was before. I don't know if it was 20. Yeah, it must have been like the year of COVID or the year after. I remember I took the final HPV vaccine or whatever because I got all that shit,
Right.
and then I remember like I had like side effects. Like the day after, I was like hella lightheaded and shit. Like I was in the middle of doing a session the day after, and in the middle of the session, I had to lay down because I was dizzy, and it's because I got the vaccine the day before, like the HPV vaccine. So it was like, those vaccines, it was like, oh yeah, it's like good to take it or whatever. Like, oh, HPV, like, even if you have a girlfriend and what I'm saying, you don't plan to be with her or whatever, some shit, like let's say, like that's what the doctor was saying, like, are you marrying her? Do you plan on being with her? I was like, I don't fucking know. He's like, yeah, why not? But he's like, he just still suggested it, but it's like,
I think they get a kickback from that though. The second you take that vaccine, they make a buck from it.
yeah,
I
right?
think that's why they recommend all this stuff.
That's crazy. Yeah, but it's like that's what I'm saying. I feel like nowadays they're pushing so much garbage on you, so I feel like one of the only things you could do is just like if you're in shape, you know what I'm saying, you exercise. I feel like that's, if the food is poison and everything they're giving you is poison, like commercials and shit, they're showing you beer commercials, they're showing you DraftKings commercials. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of like poison and bad shit that's being pushed on us. It's just a matter of us being like seeing past it and being like, no, I see a Modelo commercial. I'm not gonna drink Modelo. I'm seeing a DraftKings commercial. I'm not gonna go bet my life savings on a fucking game.
Right. Notice how all the commercials are gambling, pharmaceuticals.
And like a bad bitch. Like there'll be a bitch
Yeah,
with like a
yeah.
rack. They put a bitch with like a rack in a commercial. Be like, they'll have like a Modelo commercial, DraftKings commercial, and then a commercial, and a bitch has like a rack and she's looking fine
Promoting
or
a
whatever.
burger or something.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, there's a lot of shit that's out there like trying to get you, and it's really up to you to look past that and be like, nah, that's not what I want. I know they're feeding me this garbage, but instead of me going to the store and getting Modelo's, I'm gonna go get a smoothie or some shit. Like I'm gonna redirect that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they're pushing on you, you just do the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Don't. You know what I'm saying?
The only thing
if
you
they're
can control in
pushing
this
Modelo-
life is what you put inside of your body and, putting your best effort into things you do in life. I mean, if you don't take care of your body, you're not going to be able to do most things you want to do in your life. So
Yeah, it's like this is your vessel.
It's
You know what I'm
obvious,
saying?
though.
You gotta protect it. You gotta take care of it and shit. It's like you gotta eat. Eating healthy and just like not self-destructing is what I'm saying, it's important. I feel like people are so quick to want to like enjoy themselves and shit. And I feel like for a while, especially like in college years, I feel like I was on like a destructive path. And I feel like as I got older, I was like, I don't need to smoke and drink myself away. Like there's other ways I can manage how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like going to the gym, just eating right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like fucking.
start to
You
realize
know.
that, though, after you graduate.
That's what I'm saying. You start to
Doesn't hit you.
realize like I'm not gonna be young forever, so I might as well start taking care of my body now. So when I do reach my older years, at least like I'll be in good shape. At least my lungs work and shit. You know what I'm saying? At least I know I got my cardio. So when I do get older, you know what I'm saying, I can still move and do shit. It's not like, you know what I'm saying, I was fucking, being destructive to my body throughout these years. Like I'm happy that I was able to see it at a young age and be like, all right, there's a better way to go about managing how I feel. If I feel like shit, like for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna go to alcohol. I'm not gonna go to drugs to fucking, you know what I'm saying, try to mask it. I'm you know what I'm saying, confront that shit head on. Whether it be like going to the gym or whatever, or just like, there's different ways to channel how you're feeling.
Yeah, I remember even yesterday, my buddy Trey, shout out Trey, he was asking me why, I'm obsessed with lifting and working out. And if I don't go to the gym one day, I almost get like this sense of like, man, what have I even done with my day? It doesn't feel complete. He's asking me, what do I train so hard for? What are you chasing? And it took me a second to like reflect. I didn't even know what I was chasing anymore. Part of it, I told him, was because I was always into sports as a kid. I always got hurt, as you know, basketball, soccer. I was always the high flyer, trying to go out for some crazy blocks, trying to dunk, trying to do this. I was always getting hurt. And I feel like I could never see out my potential when it came to sports. I feel like I could have made a league. I could have made D3 ball. I could have done this. But I could have, made it to a higher tier of competition that I was able to get to. Injuries kind of derailed that. But he was asking me, why do you train so hard? And the only answer I could come up with was, I'm just trying to like maximize my human potential. I don't want to turn 40 and 50 and be in shit shape and look back on my 20s and say, why didn't I chase it? Why didn't I push? Why didn't I try to reach that, peak human potential that are in my genes? Why didn't I try to maximize my agility and just to feel good in everything I do in life? It's easier to pick up shit, and it's easier to make one trip at the groceries when you got a good muscle mass to you and you feel good and you got good stamina, and it's just easier to go about life when you keep yourself in good health. So I told him I'm not chasing anything. I just want to be the best version of myself I could be. You got one life. I mean, if you don't cherish what your movement and what you could do with it, then you're going to look back with regret. At least some people. Some people are going to be, half of this country is overweight, considered overweight. They're going to turn 50. They're not even going to look back and have any regret. And, that's just where their mental brings them. But for me, I know I'm going to regret it if I don't go 100% when I'm younger, because it's the time that you should be going 100% and taking care of yourself.
100%. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, health is wealth. Like, you could have however much money in the bank, but I feel like think about it. Like, if, let's say there's one day where it's like, God forbid, like, or just you, like, let's say you have a cold, right? Like, let's say you have a cold and you're just bedridden, you feel like shit. I feel like the only thing you really want at that moment is to just feel better and be in good health. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying, health is really the real wealth. And there's people out there that, like, maybe their financial state isn't where they want to be, but they're in good health. I feel like that's a lot better than a fat fuck who has a lot of money and he just feels like shit. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not fat shaming or nobody, but I'm saying, like, I feel like people who feel good and are in good health with, not a lot of money are probably better off than somebody who does have more money, but they're overweight and they're just not happy with how they look or feel or whatever and shit. So I feel like, health is the real wealth. It's important to take care of your body and drink water and, what I'm saying, eat fruits and vegetables and shit, like, and stay away from, like, I feel like, I'd be staying away from, like, candy and, like, soda and just, like, unnecessary sugar, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you stay away from sugar or, like, a lot of that shit, it's, like, that's half the battle. Like, you want to stay away from, like, candy and soda because I feel like that shit can, you know what I'm saying, it adds up quickly. Like, you know what I'm saying, sugar, it's, like, it's not good.
Your body can't tolerate it, as you get older. It's just, you're going to see the difference in your body and your composition so much faster than you would if you're 18, having a crappy diet. So for all those people out there that might not feel like they can put themselves out there and take that risk and try and get themselves into better shape, it only takes a couple days in a row. Eventually becomes a couple weeks in a row. They say it takes 6 weeks to build a good habit. You don't know unless you try. And if you need that extra bit of motivation, put on some good music. Go buy a couple weights off Amazon if you're self-conscious, don't want to go to the gym right away, and just give it a real shot. And you'll be very surprised. That real motivation will come when you see the difference and the progress. That's what changed everything for me. Everybody's going to plateau. No matter how much you lift, how much you exercise, everybody's going to plateau.
Yep.
And it's just, you got to look back on those progress. I always tell people to take progress photos. I just got my personal training license. I'm waiting to start. And the difference maker for a lot of people that I've spoken to at the gym is taking those progress photos and looking back. This is where I started. I might not see it every day, incremental changes, in the mirror. But looking back on those photos, see where you came from. That's the difference.
Hell yeah. What's cool? I was actually gonna ask you about, like, the personal training because I know you did just you're now a certified personal trainer. Congrats, yo, that's fire.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say, like, what will you, like, suggest to anybody who's trying to, like, get big or put on mass? Like, what will you say is, like, the biggest advice you could say, like, if you're just trying to put on sheer muscle mass? Like, what do you, like, suggest for, like, you know what I'm saying?
So I've been lifting since, I would say, sophomore year of high school. So that's more than a decade now. How old are we? 30, probably 15 years old. I'm 25. About a decade. The one thing that I've plateaued a heck of a lot. I started out with no meat on my body. I started out skin and bones, and I think that's honestly harder than if you're overweight and start lifting, because at least if you're overweight, I told you this once before, I actually admire the people that are overweight that got themselves into shape and built muscle, because their legs, I always dreamed of having big legs for some reason. I don't know why. It was probably because I was skin and bones and skinny legs growing up. And you were the same type of build as me.
I low key still am. I mean, I'm obviously like obviously I'm long
you look
skinny,
so much
but
different though.
I definitely, what I'm saying, I definitely put on muscle. But I know what you mean. I was skin and bone. Like, at least I have a little bit more meat on my bones, but I was skin and bone. You know what I'm saying?
But the overweight people that lost all that weight, they have so much leg muscle because it takes a lot of muscle to hold up all that weight for all those years. So they always have some big ass legs when they drop weight and they start lifting heavy. And but the one bit of advice would be just to stay consistent. The consistency is the biggest difference for me. Whenever I look back on, why am I plateauing? Why don't I see any changes? I feel like I look the same as I looked 2 months ago. The only difference was I was taking days off. I was skipping days. I wasn't staying regimented. And once I started going really 5-6 days a week lifting consistently, that's when I noticed you have to chip away. Picture like those Greek god sculptures. They don't really come to fruition and look chiseled until that project is finished. And we're always chasing a finished project. You're never gonna be finished. You're always chasing 1% better. That's the only thing you're chasing. If you say I'm 1% better than I was yesterday, it sounds cliche, but you're gonna notice over time, 3, 4, 5 years lifting, I look like a totally different human being than I looked like 5 years ago. In college I thought I was big. I was still skinny compared to what I am now.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely brick by brick. Like I noticed that with lifting and also like with music too, because like pretty much with music, like there was a point in time where I was just making music every single day, like what I'm saying, for years on end and shit. And whether I was making a beat, writing, I'm saying, recording, I'm saying, engineering, I was doing something every day, and I feel like over time, like the bricks, I'm saying, it's like every brick needs to be put in place, I'm saying? So it's like you really can't skip a day, and it's like, there's no way around the hard work. So it's like you gotta, I'm saying, the consistency is like, it's key, I'm saying? Even if you're not feeling motivated, just like showing up and doing shit. Like there's some days where there's some days where I pull up here and I'm just like, I'm not feeling the most creative, but I still like load something up and I still try to work on shit even if I'm not feeling it. So I feel like, I'm saying, just like showing up, I feel like it's literally like showing up to the gym is half the battle. Like if you're able to show up to the gym, and I feel like if you gotta sweat, I'm saying, if you feel like you gotta pump, I feel like, I'm saying, you're 1% closer to, I'm saying, being the best version of yourself. And obviously there's no such thing as like a perfect physique. It's like something that everybody's chasing, a perfect physique, but it's like, I feel like it's just being the best version of yourself. I feel like is what, I'm saying, we're trying to get at. Because obviously people chase that perfect physique, but it doesn't exist, I'm saying? That's why people, be doing like some dumb shit. And it's like, even back to like the plateauing part, because I used to like, I still be making like protein shakes and shit, but I noticed when I stopped taking like creatine, because like I'd be drinking coffee, I didn't want to do both, but I noticed when I stopped drinking creatine, like I noticed I plateaued, and I didn't know if it was because like the creatine, or maybe I just wasn't going hard enough, or maybe the creatine wasn't allowing me to go hard enough. But it's like, what I'm saying, I noticed that like after a while of not taking the creatine, I low-key plateaued. And it's like, obviously the creatine was giving me that extra push and shit, but it's like, it's like, is it really the best way to go about it? But I don't think you're supposed to take creatine every day, but maybe you're supposed to. I don't know. So I definitely noticed like a plateau in just like, whatever I was doing. But I feel like it's just part of the process though. What I'm saying?
I will say though, creatine is okay to take every day. I've actually been taking creatine for the last, I'd say, 5 years every day, like without stopping.
Sheesh.
If I did stop taking creatine, I've stopped for like 4 or 5 days. I would take a trip. I wouldn't have it on me, to make my morning shake and throw it in there. But you will notice a difference because creatine holds water weight, and the second you drop in water weight, you're gonna look skinnier. You're gonna, hold less weight, so you're gonna be able to put up less weight, in the gym, lifting wise. If you weigh less, it's gonna be harder to put up that same heavy weight that you were putting up when you had 10 pounds extra on you because your body was holding more water. It's just basic science. But it is okay to take every day. But yeah, people plateau, and just showing up for yourself is I would say more like 75% of the battle. You're not going to walk in the gym and then walk right out the door, right? Once you're in the gym, you're going to do something.
Yeah.
Just do something.
Yeah,
Look back 10 years ago when you were, showing me your music in the car. If you didn't show up for yourself every day since then, you would have never had that, that collab, even with like Wacotron. I mean, looking back on it, to tell yourself 10 years ago when we were sitting in my car playing your music at 2 o'clock in the morning, smoking a joint and just hanging out, check out this new beat I made, whatever. you know, it was good, but like incrementally over time, you're like, wow, holy shit. You know, when did you learn this? How'd you learn to engineer a song like this? Whatever. I don't know all the ins and outs, so you know more than I do. But you know, if you didn't show up yourself every day, you're not going to see results every day. And the music industry is a perfect metaphor for that because it's probably one of the hardest industries to break out of as far as, you know, gaining popularity or gaining a following.
Definitely,
And
yeah. It's
especially
tough out
if
here.
you take that time off, if you take that time off and just kind of give up on yourself for a couple of years, you're gonna go nowhere.
Yeah, it's definitely something you gotta, you know what I'm saying, keep showing up. And I feel like especially for the independent artists, there's so much shit that you gotta do. Like obviously, you know, I be like obviously shooting videos for myself, but you know, cover art, like promo and shit. There's a lot of different shit that independent artists are doing besides just making the music, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes like they do engineer and they do produce and they do mix and master, you know what I'm saying? Not all artists, but obviously some of them do. You know, obviously like promoting themselves on social media. Like a lot of these artists, you know what I'm saying, there's so much shit to do. Like I said, cover art, you know what I'm saying, distribution, like going on the website and doing all that shit. And a lot of people, a lot of artists that are signed, they have like whole teams behind them, but it's like to do that shit like independently and not have a team, you know what I'm saying? Like it makes it tough, but it's like it doesn't mean you can't still do it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, with music, like I don't really intend on getting signed. Like I'm kind of just doing my shit independently, and like, you know what I'm saying. I already know that if I don't sign, my fan base isn't gonna be where I want it, and that's fine. Like you know what I'm saying, because I really started music like, you know, just doing it because I love music. But it's like, you know, when you do sign, it's like, you know, you kind of give your rights away. It's like people, you know what I'm saying. There people are just kind of like making money off your music and shit, but it's like not in the correct way. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's your likeness that is like, you know, other people are using for you, and it's like I don't like the idea of that. So I already know I'm not signing ever, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like artists like they shouldn't make music with the intent of getting signed. They should make music with the intent of just making music that they like. You know what I'm saying? Like
It goes
anybody
back to
who's
turning a hobby into your career. You know, are you in it for the love of the game, or are you in it to, you know, chase an end goal? Right. Everybody's chasing something. That there's nothing wrong with that. But what was the driving factor that brought you into this industry? It's your love for music. You know, you're not going to be upset if you don't have 1 million followers. That was never the goal in the first place. The goal was to be the best engineer now that you could be. You know, you started as a singer songwriter, sure, but now you turned it into a real career. So you weren't necessarily chasing. You know, it's the 0.0001% that, you know, go viral on TikTok and have a career overnight and are able to, you know, make millions of dollars in a matter of a couple of weeks. You know, sign with a record label and their music is reaching millions of people online. It's just it's not reality for 99.9% of people.
yeah, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not ideal. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know like even for like, you know, my lifestyle and shit, I know it's like, you know, the way a lot of like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that isn't, you know, it's not suitable for my lifestyle, and I know that I am the best when, you know what I'm saying, I have creative control, so I feel like, you know, there's nothing wrong with being an independent artist and having a small fan base that really fucks with you as opposed to like trying to be the biggest thing out. And I feel like that's like I feel like a lot of artists, like especially, you know, you have this idea in your mind that's like you're trying to be the biggest possible. But I feel like as long as you could find like a few, even like a few people, like handful of people, maybe be like a couple hundred people, a couple thousand, whatever it is, like people who could actually like listen to music and genuinely fuck with it. I feel like that's all, you know what I'm saying? That's all you really need. Like you don't even need to be the biggest thing. I feel like as long as you can make music that people can appreciate and that you can appreciate and you enjoy it while you're making the music, I feel like that's all you can really ask for. It's like, you know, obviously people come from, you know, different musical backgrounds. People make different types of music, you know, so it really, you know, it really depends. But I say as far as like, you know, me in the studio and shit, like I feel like I'm always gonna remain independent, and this it could be like an independent label. You know what I'm saying? Like there's independent artists that come here, and you know they're paying for it out of pocket and shit. It's like, you know, this is their music, and it's like they have their creative freedom. So it's like that's like, you know, that's I feel like that's important. Like you should be able to pull up and make the shit you like making. You shouldn't have to make music that like you feel like somebody
Checks a
might
box.
like. Yeah, you shouldn't have to try to check a box for somebody else when it comes to music. You should pull up and make music that you enjoy making, you know what I'm saying? So
It goes back to what we were saying. You know, it's hard to keep up a persona that you fabricated from the beginning. You know, it's the only way to be yourself is to be yourself and be yourself from the jump. You know, if you market yourself as somebody you're not from the jump, it's going to be a lot harder to maintain that image and maintain that person that you know created from the jump.
Nah, for real. Yeah, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you're gonna do music, you know what I'm saying, do it for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? Make music. And that's the thing, like, I feel like when I first started making music, like I was making beats and shit, and I feel like, you know, I wasn't really like paying attention to my lyrical content, and nowadays I kind of listen to like the shit that I made a few years ago, and I'm kind of just like a lot of the lyrics in my music, I'm kind of just like as I get older, I kind of realize, wait, I don't know if this is really what I want to say type shit. So I feel like I feel like over time you're gonna like evolve as an artist, and I feel like the stuff that I'm making now at this time of the year, or at least this time of my life, is different than last year, even 2 years ago. So I feel like even now, I feel like I'm taking like a more like a more mature approach. Like I'm not really saying, I'm trying to keep in mind like what the lyrical content I'm saying and just like the sonics of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
A lot of people pull out songs with a lot of empty lyrics. There's no meaning behind it. There's no passion.
well, yeah, that's the thing. Like I noticed when I tried to make songs, when I tried to write songs with no curse words in it, I feel like not only did it come out more meaningful, but I feel like it made me a better writer because it's like sometimes a lot of curse words there'd be like filler words, like if you're saying like the F word or just like shit, it's just like filler words that you put in there to match a flow. But it's like, let's say you take out all the curse words and you're trying to write with no curse words, it actually makes you like think outside the box because you actually you're still aiming for a flow, but the fact that there's no curse words or no, what I'm saying, certain topic, it's like, it makes you a better writer. So I feel like, being conscious about what you say in the songs and just like, I feel like that's what I've been doing recently. I feel like it's coming out different. So I feel like a lot of stuff that I've been working on, I'm excited for people to hear and shit. And even like our joints, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like our joints is like actual music. It's not like, I just don't want to put like a bad message in the music because I feel like I've done that for years and years on end. Like I listen back to some of my music. I'm just like, you know what, I could have, and sometimes I'll play it for like my pops or whatever. Like I'll play him one of my songs. He's like, why you say that?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want my grandma to be able to listen to it, but at the same time, I want somebody out there, like some random person out there to listen to it and have them both like it. But, it's hard to do. It takes time, and it's like, obviously it's like, it gets better over time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as you work on the craft, you just like, you figure out like what's the best way to go about it.
I will say though, a lot of your
It's
music
tough.
kind of came from the situation that you were in at the time. So I wouldn't necessarily regret creating some of the music that you made. You feel like some lyrics might be empty, or you threw in some filler in there that didn't really reflect, your character all the time. But you went through a lot of phases in your life where you felt a certain way, and that's the vibe that you put out in your music. So I don't think necessarily people should regret, the things they might have put into a song. But at the same time, as you get older, you get more mature, and you just have that natural tendency to want to say more with less words, rather than just spitting on a beat and just putting something together just to put something together.
Definitely. Like I noticed myself like whenever I would like try to put on a beat and freestyle, I was more prone to saying some bullshit as opposed to like actually sitting down and writing something that's like more meaningful. And I feel like, the music that I did make that I wasn't proud of is like, I really was like maybe like it was kind of just like with the times type of thing. It's probably just like how I was feeling at the moment.
Right.
And a lot of times it's like, and I notice when I'm recording other artists, like artists will just go in the booth and like just like get some steam off, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like sometimes it's like people are going in the booth and actually like trying to make a song, and other times people are actually going in there and like literally just getting shit off their chest, like, you know what I'm saying?
And I like
steam
that
off.
too.
So
Like
it's both. Like,
the
that's what it
industry
comes
needs a
down
little
to.
bit of everything. I understand the point that you made where, I want my grandma to be able to listen to this music. But you do have the range where you could put out certain things that like, you're blowing steam off and getting things off your chest, and you have those types of songs where you're really, it's just pouring out feelings, and you might feel like, you got a couple F-bombs in there, I can't let this person hear it. But you also have that range like in your repertoire where you could really sing on a beat and family friendly, you know what I'm saying? Like you really have it all. So, but some people don't. some people really are only able to just bullshit on a beat, and they stay within that one. They don't have that kind of range to be able to experiment like that. And it just is what it is. I mean, it's just more incentive to try and, not check off a box and put yourself into, a different category and experiment with your sound and experiment with the content and what's behind the lyrics.
Nah, definitely. I mean, like along with that, like that's why like if people, let's say people could sing, I recommend people like if you actually have a singing voice, like you might as well sing on the tracks because a lot of people like they can't sing. A lot of people just rap, so I feel like what I'm saying, you should be able to utilize like your talents. Like I feel like even the tracks that we got like throughout the years, what I'm saying, you were always able to like match pitches. What I'm saying, like you're always able, like you always had like.
I sung enough in my car over the years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you actually like have melodic ability. So I feel like when we're making tracks, it's like you actually, what I'm saying, you actually be melodic because you actually can sing. You know what I'm saying? So, like some people
you always
just,
encourage me to do it too.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like when there are artists that pull up here, and like I've had like artists pull up and they do like let's say they do like a 2-hour session. They're doing different songs. Like the one that they're doing that's melodic. Like there was one kid that pulled up. I'm not gonna say names. He did a drill song the first time he pulled up, and it wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't it. Everybody in the room could tell. And then the next song that he did, he started doing like the melodic shit, and you know what I'm saying? That was it. Like yeah, it hit. I was like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep doing like the melodic shit. Right. So it's like I feel like if you can sing and you can do a certain thing on the track, I feel like I encourage that because like anybody, not anybody can rap because honestly, rapping is like it's easier said than done, literally. Like
Definitely.
it's not, you know what I'm saying? Anybody could rap, so to say, but to be a good rapper and to be perceived as a good rapper, you got to really be clever. Your voice got to be there, lyrical, you know what I'm saying? Just like cleverness with the lyrics. So there's a lot of factors into, like how the song comes out. Obviously the tone of voice. I feel like the tone of your voice is like one of the most important things because like anybody could say the words, but I feel like if it's your tone, like everybody has their own unique like tone, like their voice is like instrument. So I feel like everybody has their own sound on the mic, and it's like it takes years to like figure out the best way to go about it. Like I'm still figuring out the best way to go about it. So I feel like there's tracks where I had that I was straight blowing off steam in the booth, and then there's other ones where I'm like what I'm saying, singing my heart out, but it's like it's kind of just like I'm finding the sound, but also it's like a mixture of me getting steam off and me just like trying to be as melodic as possible, or me trying to rap like what I'm saying, like rap as fast as possible, or whatever the case is. What I'm saying, there's a lot of ways to go about it, so it's just a matter of finding the correct way to go about it. And I really think like artists should fuck around on the mic and just like maybe book a session or whatever the case is, record and just like do a whole like session of just bullshitting, because I feel like that's how what I'm saying, you're going to find your sound through just like straight up bullshitting on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Like even when we recorded in the basement, we were just like fucking around. I'm saying? Like
you hum on the beat. You hum on the beat before you sing on the beat.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like think about like, welcome to Stony Land. You are now experiencing this. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many tracks I have where it's like I'm straight bullshitting, but it's like I feel like I found some sauce through like
that's what built
recording.
The flow, though.
That's what I'm saying. Recording bullshit. Like, welcome to Stony Land. You are now experiencing the Stony time. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it was. I was saying some bullshit. I have a lot of songs where I'm just like straight bullshit. I release some of it too. Like, I feel like, what I'm saying? My catalog varies. Like, obviously melodic shit and rapping shit, but, blowing off steam. I have songs out where it's like, I'm joking. Like, come on. Like, you listen to this shit, I'm just having fun with it.
That one track that went viral on the reels or something that you were getting some hate for. What was that?
Oh, going dummy. I'm going dummy, going dummy, going dummy.
Going dummy. Going dummy. Going dummy, going dummy, going dummy.
That shit was, and it's crazy because that was really like, what I'm saying, that at that time in my life, it's like, it was really for whatever reason, that's how that shit came out, what I'm saying? And it was New Year's, because in the song I was like, oh, I'm in the booth for New Year's, fuck is y'all talking about? But I was in the booth for New Year's, so I was like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? I'm in the booth, but it was like, it was a freestyle, but, I guess, the going dummy just reflected how I was in that moment, like, it was just,
you felt like going hard.
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
Kind of the crazy shit that kind of hits, too. I mean, like, these algorithms are weird, and people like the weird shit. People like shit that just doesn't sound normal, And regardless of if they liked it or not, they engaged. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's that quote about that bowler? Regardless of whether you love me or hate me, you watched. That's all I could ask for.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, if you go on the Going Dummy music video, like, obviously, like, I got shit for it, but it's like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I had fun making the song. I had fun shooting the video. I posted it. I didn't really worry about what people said. I still posted it. It doesn't matter how I looked, how I sounded. I just still posted it. And if people want to listen to it and leave a hate comment, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you have free will if you want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't condone hate, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, people are just going to hate. And I feel like a lot of times the hate be coming not because they hate you, but it's because they hate themselves. Like, it comes from within them. It's not even so much. It's not even because they hate me. I'm just a guy who made a song and made a video and posted it. It's not because they hate me. It's because they hate themselves. Or maybe it's like they hate that maybe they couldn't make the song or post the video. It's like maybe they hate that part about them, that part about themselves, which is why they're leaving this sort of hate comment. But it's like, what I'm saying? I don't know these people. They could, what I'm saying? They could have just came across it and just didn't like it. Maybe because the color of my skin or the way I look or whatever. So
for whatever reason, man, it's a lot easier to say fuck all that when you're having a shit day. So if you're having a fantastic day, there's no part of you, if you're a normal, level-headed human being, that's going to go out and cause problems with somebody that, somebody in your family or something. That's the last thing you want to do when you're having a great day. It's super easy to hate when there's something going wrong in your life or you feel unfulfilled with something. So it comes with the territory, though, man. That's the business. That's the business. That's what you signed up for, and you didn't take anything to heart when all that stuff was going down.
No, 100%. I mean, but like I said, it was a hump that you have to get over. Just like putting yourself out there, putting your face with your vocals, and just what I'm saying, putting that shit out there. It's like I feel like they be saying like if there's no hate, then what I'm saying, or if there is hate, then you're doing something right. But honestly, like not even. It's like obviously people are just gonna. It's just people have their opinions, and it's just like it's up to you whether or not to care about it or not.
Listen, this is your life, not theirs, man. This is your life, not theirs. You're gonna look back with like we said, you're gonna look back with a whole lot of regret if you never tried.
Yeah, exactly. Like what I'm saying, even like growing up, like back in high school, like let's say back in high school, like maybe I used to give a fuck about like what people thought about me or. Like when I dropped shit on SoundCloud, like what
you did
you
did for a hot minute, like when we were in high school, because it was very cliquey. Our high school was very cliquey, and you felt at times that like they would exclude you with certain things. You were trying to find a way to fit in, and then something clicked. Like towards the end of high school, you were like, in 5 years, half these kids are gonna hate themselves and hate each other. Like, what? Why am I getting crazy over the fact that they don't? They want to poke fun at the fact that I'm actually putting a face to my sound and putting myself out there on the internet. Like, there's a lot of people that would never even take that risk. What are they gonna think of me? What are my boys at school gonna think? There's so many people that like might have a good sound that never even take that chance because they're just so preoccupied about self-image.
Nah, for real. It's a hard. Believe me,
a lot of wasted talent.
Nah, for real. I be thinking about that. Like, damn, people. Like, I think everybody should at least try to make a song in their lifetime because they don't know like if they can do it until they actually try. But I feel like it's a hard pill to swallow, like not giving a fuck about what people think. It's like because you really do up until a certain point, and then it's like what I'm saying. It's like once you that's what I'm saying. Like once you accept it, you're like, well, people really don't give a fuck. I could just do whatever the fuck I want. Mm-hmm. So it's like I feel like you accepting that people don't give a fuck, it makes it so much easier. Like it's freeing knowing that people don't give a fuck. Like I'd rather people not give a fuck. I'm gonna post these songs and what I'm saying, because I like doing it. It doesn't even matter if what I'm saying. So I feel like it's hard to do that, what I'm saying, because a lot of people, they might be insecure about how they look, how they sound, but what I'm saying, even if you don't think you look the best or even if you don't think you sound the best, you can still post it, what I'm saying, even if like people, everybody has their own opinions and they're entitled to it, but it's not, what I'm saying, it's not for you to care about it, what I'm saying. Like I expect when I make this podcast, some people might love it and some people might enjoy it and other people might not, and that's fine, what I'm saying. Like, because even think about like some of the most successful artists in the world, like let's say Drake, for instance, right? Like somebody could listen to Drake's music and genuinely listen to it and just not like it. Like they could listen to it and be like, I don't like this shit. Not because they're hating. It's just, what I'm saying, it's subjective. Yeah. So everybody's got different tastes, and it's like, I really do believe that, I said this in last episode, like I really do believe that there's a fan base for every type of music out there, and you don't really, what I'm saying, you don't really know until you put it out there, and I feel like some people just naturally gravitate towards it. Like, you know, some people really don't fuck with my shit, and that's fine. And then there's the few people that know my shit and they like it, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? I have a lot for y'all, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you just got to keep shit coming. Like what you said with like the gym and shit, like how you seen improvement. It's just like being consistent and just, you know what I'm saying, keep going at it. Even if like people don't want to see that shit, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. You do it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sometimes you don't get that
consistent.
1% better, on a certain day. If you quit there, I mean, you're never going to see anything through.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's one thing that all like people, like successful people have in common is that they all, you know what I'm saying, they never
Failed.
gave up. They all failed,
too.
but they never gave up though. Like they all failed time and time and time again, but they never gave up. And I feel like that's the reason why they're all there is because they failed time and time again, and they never gave up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even like LeBron, right? For instance, like he's not the most winningest player. He's lost more finals than won finals, but he's still, you know what I'm saying? He still laces them up and he gives it everything he got every game. So that's LeBron. You know what I'm saying? That's the greatest basketball player of all time. That's what makes him so great, is because he knows that he doesn't win all the time. You know what I'm saying? He knows. I feel like LeBron going to the finals, like for half a decade of his life, think about it. He lost like what, 6 finals and won 4?
Right.
He literally for over half a decade of his life, he showed up to an NBA finals and lost.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about because he's, you know what I'm saying, he's still, you know what I'm saying, LeBron.
Yeah, man. If
Everything
you don't
comes back to
try, you're never
LeBron.
gonna see it through. You just gotta take that risk. I want to grow up and be as fearless and not care about what other people think, like that woman who dances at the stoplights in Merrick and Belmore, bro. For those that don't know, Merrick and Belmore got this one lady who exercises all the time. She's always on runs and walks. At every stoplight, she does this crazy dance. She's got music going. She's literally moving like this, like it's an 80s disco. And, think about how many people stopped, pulled their smartphone out, started taking a video of her, laughing at her, sending it on Snapchat. Look at this bozo dancing at the streetlight. Is she on crack?
Like a tweaker,
Meanwhile, in her head, she's like, man, life is so beautiful, man. I just want to dance it out. Like, it's all about perspective. It really is all about perspective.
She always got a smile on her face too.
Always.
Like every time you ever see her, like I throw her honks too, because I'm not gonna lie, maybe like the first 2 or 3 times I seen her, I was like, damn, we got ourselves a tweaker in Merrick Belmore, because I see her at various locations all throughout Merrick and Belmore. Like I've seen her in North Merrick, South Belmore. She's everywhere.
I bet you she's one of the most positive, like outgoing people though.
Well, yeah,
you don't know that until you put the damn phone down and have a conversation with somebody.
Well, yeah, apparently she's like completely normal. Like I've heard, like I guess some people in town know her. Apparently she's completely normal. She just goes out and does that and just stands on the corner and just like, I guess you could say tweak, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But she always got a smile on her face. And then like after I kept seeing her, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe after the 3rd, 4th, 5th time, like I throw her a honk and she always like, you know what I'm saying? She's always happy to see me. And she's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like it's crazy because like the more you see something, I feel like that because she was so consistent about it, at first I was like, oh, she's just some Merrick tweaker. Right. And then as I kept seeing her, and she was just like, you know what I'm saying? She just kept showing up. And I was just like, oh shit. And after a while I started to accept.
Bet you just damn respect the woman for continuing to do her damn thing, even in the face of, people recording her and making fun.
Well, yeah, it's like the same, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, you after a while, you just respect it. And I feel like the same thing goes with, like, hitting the gym or making music. Like, you see somebody keep at their shit for a while, and after some point, you just have no option but to respect it. Even just like Bree, like, he's given the Knicks buckets countless amount of times. And it's just like, I just came to respect that every time LeBron comes to the Garden, he might just hang 40 on my team. But he's just such a great player that it's like,
How can you hate? How can you hate on greatness?
It's like you can't, but that's what I mean. It's like I actually know people who genuinely hate LeBron. Like, why though? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously LeBron's got haters. He's the best basketball player in the world. But it's like I just know people who genuinely hate LeBron. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be your own family that don't like LeBron. Yeah. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta respect it though. Like it's just the respect. Like it's the respect part. He worked at his craft.
Comes back to comparison too. It's just everybody always wants to compare and. The lady on the sidewalk dancing, man. Oh, you don't see me doing that. I'm not crazy like that. It's like, how do you call something crazy that you've never even done before? You might feel damn good, putting the headphones in, going for a walk, and start dancing on the street corners. So
yeah, nah, she's really just like she toned out all the haters, maybe because you already know she she's got people in American Belmore talking about like, you know, her dancing, whatever.
She's a metaphor for life, though, for real.
She is. Nah, I'm telling you, she goes to sleep and wakes up just not giving a fuck.
Yep.
She wakes up, she's like, I'm gonna show up on that corner and I'm gonna dance.
Hell yeah.
And you know what I'm
respect her
saying?
for it.
Like she's just a regular, like apparently she's just like a regular family mom. Like she just, you know what I'm saying? She just does whatever she does, and then that's, you know, she goes outside and she dances.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, it's like maybe she looks like she's tweaking, but you know, she got a smile on her face and she knows that she's gonna be up the next day and she's gonna be dancing that next day, every day. It's just what she does. It's a part of her, you know what I'm saying? That's a part of her being. She's gonna wake up and dance on the street corner all throughout the town. She, you know what I'm saying, she lives for that shit. Like she lives for that shit. Like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So people
I
find
think
what
it's
they like
damn
doing.
cool, man. As you get older, you start to just appreciate people that do their thing and do their thing without caring and having a care in the world. You know, it comes with being mature too. You know, because as you get older, you start to realize how hard life can really be. And if you don't do what you love, you're wasting your time. You only got one. You're not going to be reincarnated and have the second chance. So some people believe in that though. So shout out to them. But you know, if we could leave these listeners with one bit of advice, it's just to take that chance. You know, don't, you know, wake up tomorrow and just take the risk. You know, if you don't take the risk, you're going to stay exactly where you're at. It applies to all aspects of life, music, the gym, just being, you know, overall your happiness level in life. Take that risk.
Yep.
Continue to just try and get 1% better. Take progress photos and, you know, look back and see where you came from. And eventually in 5 years of, you know, consistent effort, in whatever industry, whatever aspect of life that you're putting forth that effort in, you're gonna look back and be like, "Damn, I'm really glad that I just woke up that next day and did it."
And I'm really glad I woke up that day and just spent damn near 3 bands on the camera.
Yeah, here we are.
Nah, for real. You know what I'm saying? Take that risk. You know what I'm saying? Take that risk. Don't care about no opinions that are placed upon you. And I feel like you'll live a pretty peaceful life that way. You'll enjoy. You know what I'm saying? You'll enjoy yourself knowing that, you know what I'm saying, whatever people do think about you is just like, it doesn't matter. And obviously it's something like, you know, someday we all turn to dust and shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody goes back to where we started, but it's like, you know, this shit really is like, when you think about it like that, obviously it's, you know what I'm saying, you don't want it to be grim, but it's like, you know, it really don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I feel like your one, like, your one risk, your one, like chance, you're one taking a chance away from, like, you know what I'm saying, generational wealth. I feel like whether it be like Bitcoin or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, posting that song, posting that video, you know what I'm
Wealth
saying,
might not even be the goal. It's just that fulfillment in life. Man, what's wealth if you don't even feel fulfilled? For some people, money doesn't do anything for them. You know, so for some people, the goal is money. You know, you feel like money could bring you that fulfillment, and that's your prerogative too. That's totally fine. But for a lot of people, it's just finding that fulfillment and overall happiness level in life.
Yeah.
So take that risk. Take that risk.
Nah, for real. Like, even like making that song, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you wanted to go and make that song, you wanted to go and make that piece of artwork, you wanted to go and play a sport, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know what I'm saying, you're only getting older by the day, so it's like, you know, doing something just because, like, you have like, I feel like God put that inclination in you for a reason to do certain things. Because it's like, you know, there's so many different inclinations that you could possibly have. Yeah. So I feel like the fact that you have a specific inclination, like let's say there's been something on the back of your mind for a long time, it's like, I feel like there's a reason why that inclination was given to you. Like, even like with getting the camera, even with like starting the podcast, I feel like, you know, the fact that I did get that inclination, like not everybody in this lifetime is going to get an inclination to do that shit. I just felt like for whatever reason, you know, like everything kind of just lined up, like between like the studio and shit, like having different people pull up here, my kind of just like my love for making music, but also just like the video side of it too. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, I feel like there's a reason why like the podcast and just like this type of shit was put in my heart. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, you know, like people just have inclinations and do different things, and it's like, you know, if I was supposed to be a scientist or a doctor, I probably would have been a doctor, but that inclination, you know, it wasn't put in me.
Within you. That inclination was always in music.
For me to be like a scientist, or for me to be like an electrician, or for me to be any profession that I could have possibly taken, because a lot of different professions, for whatever reason, it wasn't put in my heart. But, you know, making music and just like doing what I'm doing now was. So it's like, you know, I feel like if you got an inclination to do something, whether it be even like going to the gym or something. You know what I'm saying?
Run
Going
with
to the
any
gym.
run with any inclination you have, because like we said, you got one life. You got to just, it's trial and error. Life is trial and error. You know, if you don't you have a subtle interest in, buying and selling things. Find a way to monetize it. Find a way to turn it into a business. Find a way to, find some fulfillment from it. You know, you could turn it into a career. It might end up being your life's purpose. So, take it and run with it. Continue to take that chance. And I will say it's been an honor. It's been an honor growing up with you and seeing you progress. And you had that inclination since you were a kid. You always had that musical interest. You had that perfect pitch, right? And you took it. You ran with it. It didn't always bring in the big bucks. It might not even bring in the big bucks forever. But one thing I do know is that it makes you happy doing it, and that's really all that matters. I mean, you can continue to be depressed if you never even take that chance and run with that little subtle talent you have, or the inclination to try something new that you have. So,
Hell yeah. Nah, for
and,
real.
and
So,
I do want to say I appreciate you for having me on the pod, man.
hell yeah.
Second
Nah,
episode.
Of course, yo. Hell
Shout,
yeah.
shout
We
out
go
the
way
Sound
back.
Lab. Shout
Hell
out the
yeah.
Sound Lab. It's been an absolute honor. Shout out all the artists that come into the Sound Lab every day and like we said, get 1% better. Continue to experiment with your sound and utilize this beautiful resource right here, Jesse Eplin, who continues to push artists to find that sound and experiment and try new things.
Absolutely. I really feel like, I feel like I'm here. I feel like the studio's here to give artists on Long Island an outlet to be able to, pursue their music. Because I feel like, there's a lot of people on Long Island that, would love to pursue music. And I feel like, the Sound Lab is just another option for people to, pursue their dreams if they want. If, what I'm saying, you wanted to try to make a song, you wanted to, if you want to just try to do something different, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, this place offers, I feel like this place offers like, a path for you. So I feel like I'm very grateful to be able to work with a lot of talented artists around here. And I feel like, I'm a vessel to help people, make songs, carry out their songs and stuff. So I feel like, this is something I've been doing since I was a kid, since I was 15. So I've been recording for quite some time. And I just feel like, everybody who has taken a chance on me with their music, I feel like, they were always very grateful that they did. And I feel like, that's really why this podcast exists. You know what I'm saying? Just like my sole love for music. And I feel like, just like my family believing in me with music and shit too. Like I feel like this never would have came about if I didn't believe in myself. Right. So I feel like that's another thing I want to say before we wrap it up, that I feel like believing in yourself is like the first step. Like if you believe you can do it, you know what I'm saying? I feel like everything else will follow, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like the
Everything
fact that
falls into
other
place.
people seen that I believe in myself, it was easier for other people to believe in me because they seen that I believe in myself. So
You see that confidence too.
yeah,
That's a
so
big-
I feel like, what I'm saying, it starts with like believing in yourself, like yeah, you could do this shit. Like even remember like when you were saying like you were skin and bones and you believe in yourself, like you know what I'm saying, you can get Ak, you know what I'm saying? And now look at you, you know what I'm saying? You're brolic. So it's like I feel like if you really believe that you can do some shit, it's like it is doable. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's just applying yourself and just like, you got to give yourself time and just got to believe in yourself. That's really, what it comes down to. So
I think it's a good message to
saying?
lead people off with. I do think that
Absolutely.
people deserve a little snippet though. Maybe a little snippet of a track. of
Oh,
your choice that
yeah.
we put together over the last, year and a half. We put together probably like 20 songs, almost a full album,
hell yeah.
almost
Nah,
a
for
full
real.
LP.
Yo, it's crazy that like all the songs we made, we have yet to, you know what I'm saying? They have yet to hear any of the stuff we worked on.
Yeah. Little snippet might be nice to close out the pod, episode 2.
Do I playing with do I hit him with Root of My Problems? Do I hit him with the Root of My Problems?
My problems.
What a great song. I want to make sure
Would it come
I
through
mean, I
nice
could
with the
always
phone?
punch it in. Yeah, I think so. I want to see yeah, hopefully this could play, you know what I'm saying? Or if not, you know what I'm saying, I could always just like
Punch it in
play
again,
in
yeah.
too. I mean, I could play it
little
here.
closing outro.
That's what I'm saying. Like I could do it into the like I could do it from like the hook into the, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case is, but I could play it real quick on the fucking,
Yeah.
or should I skip ahead a little bit? Well, let me send it to the laptop. the 2023 part. But honestly, like, yeah, y'all, you know what I'm saying? We've been working on some music. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all have yet to hear it. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting though, cause like whenever I do let shit fly, it's like, you know, the novelty of it like kind of wears off, cause it's like, oh, it's unreleased. But well, hold up. All right, I got you. All right. Hopefully, yeah.
I've been trying to get to the root of my problems. I gotta go deep in the dirt.
Deep in the
I said I've been
dirt.
keeping an eye on my guala. I hope that your feelings ain't hurt. I heard you can't take away knowledge. She gave me dough back in college. She let me run up the mileage. I've been feeling like a prophet. They calling on me like I be the plug. This rap
Baby, I'm funny at you with a slug. Coming in first and hooding.
I be the NBA dub. I ain't no slouch,
But I keep it a bug.
y'all on that steez, keep pushing your love.
Airbnb on a whore, I'm parking my truck, yeah.
I be running with my fellas on
Yo,
my time,
whenever
they shit ain't
this shit play,
rehearsed.
I'm gonna
Go
push that shit in.
city,
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be
I'm
playing right now.
telling
Yeah, it's a verse.
Dripping with diamonds on me, don't act like you ain't seen 'em. I told you.
It won't be the verse.
We travel, we vibe, and let's chicken dinner. I keep her at home, she call me a winner. Love how we live in my pocket's a printer. Yeah, that fit nice, but did you get dinner?
Yeah. I heard you can't take away knowledge. She gave me dough back in college. She let me run out the mileage. Then a hit and a punt, and then you come in, with cracking my fingers. I'm sipping some water with creatine in it. Better go inside the gym on a mission. I know that shit kicking it cause I get tingling. I used to pull up on y'all looking scraggly. Now I pull up looking jacked, they can stand me. I knew a Johnny never had a plan B. Promise I'll be everything that they said that they can't be. They want me to zoom in a hearse, but that wasn't part of my burst. They expecting I reimburse, but I don't know anyone's shit. I spent a rack on dinner, but I spent 10 on a pack of white teas, and I rock that shit till the winter. Puff a steezy and sip on some liquor. I ain't saying it, but you was my. Cause fuck it, we all getting richer. Cause lately we having more power. This world is for everyone, but lately we been making that shit ours.